しくったって悲しくったってコートの中では平気なのボールがうなると胸が弾むわレシーブトススパイクワンツーワンツーアタックだけど涙が出ちゃう女の子だもん涙も汗も若いファイトで青空に遠く叫びたいアタックアタックナンバーワンアタックアタックナンバーワン
And welcome to the RedLeafRetrocast Anime Edition, episode 60. Holy shit, that's a big number these days. We are reviewing Attack number 1 today, a minimum of episodes 1 to 13. At least that's what I watched.
Should have been to
These
14.
guys finished the arc.
Yeah, I know, right? Like, missing, just fucking watching 13 episodes out of a 14-episode arc and be like, yeah, whatever.
Hey, I like my idea of the ending better, so we'll get there. This is fun. Attack number 1 is an old volleyball anime from the 60s. Who knew? I'm sure like 3 people have watched it. Us 3. Anyways, we got me talking about Isekai Wrestler here in a little bit. Then we got Tori's new quest, the plan to watch cleaning. He's got some more titty anime he's going to talk about. That's going to be fun. Hickey and I got Manga Manhwa checkout to come at you with. We're up to 20 on that. That's crazy. And then summer anime reviews and, of course, our retro review. Fun episode. I'm excited. So I was talking about work a lot before this podcast, how I'm working at a third world country facility. How are you guys doing?
Fine.
Okay.
Well, no, I lied.
Big pause.
One of my wisdom teeth is growing, and it's really, really hurting a lot. Aside that, it's okay. It's been an okay week.
You should come to America. I have access to the best of chemicals. I've been watching Dr. Stone. I actually know a lot of the chemicals that they're going with because it's all mineral based. But anyways, if you want those wisdom teeth removed, got some sulfuric acid right up your alley for you.
No thanks. I also watched the show, and I don't think I want that kind of thing inside of my mouth. But no,
Sure.
I mean, the wisdom teeth, I will guarantee those wisdom teeth will be out.
JD, I think you need to drink that thing way more than I do. You know, I guess it will make your suffering go away. Definitely. No,
I am not suffering. I have a nice hazelnut-infused coffee in front of me, ready to talk about some volleyball beatdowns later.
How are you, Tori?
Tori.
I'm doing good. Well, I'm doing better.
Better?
Kind of similar
Something was wrong?
to, well, yeah, kind of similar to, except it's not my wisdom tooth. I've had a blister on the side of my tongue. Fucking giant one.
Ooh.
So
I got hydrochloric acid for that.
Yeah, so that's been scraping up against my mouth now for the last couple of days, and a few days ago I was struggling to even speak because my mouth was in so much pain, but it's going away now, so I can talk. It's okay. I will still podcast. Don't worry.
I bet I know how this occurred. Tell me if I'm right. You were watching the latest season of Food Wars,
Wrong.
and you were just salivating so hard at the food being cooked in the show that you accidentally bit your tongue in frustration that you couldn't have the food. Am I right? Am I close? Hot or warm?
Not even remotely close, no.
All right, so probably just licking your lips really hard from watching lots of the titty anime.
I have no idea what happened. Like, honestly, it just kind of appeared one day.
Yeah, you probably beat your tongue when you were sleeping.
Probably.
Dreaming of the food. Made in Food
Fuck
Wars.
you and your goddamn Food Wars. I don't give a shit about that show. There, I said it.
No one gives a shit about. I mean, no, there's some crazy people out there, but yeah, I don't think anyone is watching Food War season 4 going, oh my god, finally another season. Oh, it's just like, oh, I watched 3 seasons of this shit. I'm not dropping that right now. It's an endurance test.
I guess I'm the only one watching it then.
Yes, you are. Probably the only person who cares as well.
I was watching Food Wars making amazing tortellini last night. It was great.
Sure.
Yeah, I was. Do I need to take a picture of my food now to prove it to you, Buster?
Yeah, actually, you do.
Shokugeki no JD. Just he watches the show and says, hey, I'm gonna cook
Oh,
some.
thanks. Hickey, no, I don't want that image.
Oh, you know what? Yeah. Oh my god. Oh no. I thought of something, but I won't say. It's way too traumatic.
We all know what
the
you thought
tortellini I
of.
made last night, but this was definitely
it was so traumatic. I couldn't speak.
salmon meal I made.
Yeah. Sorry, JD.
You will respect my gourmet cooking skills.
I guess chemistry. I guess you can cook some interesting stuff.
What's funny is chemistry was actually like my worst class in college.
Okay, you shouldn't say that. You know chemistry. You can cook some interesting stuff. I think they made a show about that.
So, you guys, if listeners of the podcast are aware, when we were going over our fall outlook, I had Tori and Hickey kind of collaborate on picking an isekai show for me to watch of the fall. And they chose Rise Up, aka Isekai Wrestler. I'm a wrestling fan. I love wrestling. Well, this is anime, a wrestler that has a extreme borderline animal fetish, and he's summoned to another world to originally destroy monsters, or animal creatures, and because he's an animal lover, he proceeds to German suplex the princess that summoned him. Now, apparently, as I found out by you, Tori, you might have told me this in the last episode, but it is by the same creator that did Konosuba.
Mm-hmm.
So the comedy makes me laugh, but at the same time, I feel insulted as a wrestling fan. I feel emotionally compromised while watching this show because I want to laugh hysterically a lot, but then then there are a lot of things that the character does that makes me just cringe. It makes me just question why I'm watching this again. So, he German suplex the princess, and as one does in anime, there's a panty shot. And it's in the foreground of the camera shot, and the words that are used is something along the lines of, the princess's noble butt has been exposed to the masses. Okay. What a start. That's within the first, 4 minutes of the show. So this guy proceeds to run around town getting chased by guards in essentially his underwear, and of course they're calling him a pervert. We get the line, I'm not a pervert, I'm a pro wrestler, so, thumbs up there. And
hold on, why you used irony on that? Shouldn't you be saying yes? It's true. It's like his wrestling outfit. It's not using irony. It's like you just sounded that every single pro wrestler is a fucking pervert in disguise.
Well, that's what he's saying. That's what the show's saying. Every pro wrestler is just a pervert.
You said that. The show didn't say it.
No, that was the line from the show. I'm just quoting the lines from the show.
Yeah,
but he's in his animal mask. He's got like a cat or bear mask or something on.
It's a dog. It's the little dog. It's the same face as the little dog that goes around with him.
So, Yeah, he doesn't call it a dog. He calls it a mongrel. That's how he describes it. Anyways. So he's running around in his boots, black trunks, and a mask. And he comes across... long story short, he starts gathering up a harem of animal women hybrid people, and he basically molests the animals into submission. We get such amazing scenes as him performing a Canadian destroyer on a 3-headed Cerberus dog, and then he sniffs his butthole, and the people revering at his skill to submit these animals to his will, because he wants to open a pet shop. That is his drill. That is his goal. That is the goal of the show. He wants to open up a pet shop in a world where people want to murder animals. Yeah. I will admit, when he fights some of the animals and they're doing like wrestling moves, wow, why is the animation so good, Hickey?
Oh, no.
This is baffling to me.
The animation is actually very good. I don't know why they just had a lot of budget. Especially, I mean, you've watched all the 3 episodes, especially when he fought the orcs.
That I really like.
Yeah, the animation was exceedingly good. I was like, hold on, why is
the setup is
the woman who goes around to him. What's her name? The dog woman. Her animation is shit.
Chick.
Yeah, her animation is shit. Even her drawing is shit. But when it comes to the guy fighting, it's just amazing. It's like, hold on. There's some bias here. I guess there's probably some pro wrestling animators fans. And they spent a lot of time and a lot of resource in those fighting shots.
Yeah. So this, I like the setup for the orc, because he has to get quests, as one does in an RPG, goes to the board. This one pays the most, I'll go do that. He needs money to open up his pet shop. Well, the orcs are stealing crops from all the farmers. Alright, I'm gonna go fight this orc. He challenges the top orc, and he says they're gonna resolve this peacefully, and of course you think he's gonna talk to him. No, he's a pro wrestler after all. He's gotta talk with his fists. He proceeds to drop kick this dude in the face, and it's incredibly well animated. The sound effects are on point. You really feel the impact of this drop kick. The orc's nose bleeds, and he's like, holy shit, respect. He goes to punch this dude in the chest, and he just takes it like the Japanese pro wrestler he is. Just strong style here. He's like, you got a good punch yourself, and they duke it out. He wins off a German suplex. Of course, then his butthole's exposed to the masses, just like the princess before him. And of course they have the funny line, the orc he's in the position of submission. We have a new orc king. So I hope they go back to this later. So I'm like, okay, devastating German suplex. The German suplex is the most devastating finishing move in this pro wrestling world, I guess. So yeah, this show is funny. It's insulting to pro wrestling fans. It's well animated, which makes no sense to me. The art style is simultaneously horrible. I don't know what to make of the show. I'm emotionally confused.
Good. I guess that was the point. And we didn't even have to do the fucking Moe Grow isekai there's going around in this season.
I can go into the whole lolicon thing in the next episode.
No, he just have a fan. It's different. It's different.
I'm not kidding you. I was posting screenshots of the show last night. And Tori, you can vouch. There was legit furry.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Yes. Going, oh my god.
What
show is this? And I described the show. I'm like, well, it's a pro wrestler with a extreme animal fetish. He's like, oh my god, I gotta watch this. I'm just like, okay. Look at the guy's profile. First thing it says, furry. I'm like, of course.
JD, don't diss your fans.
immediately bombarded with DMs of multiple furries on Twitter right after that.
They're all following you, man.
Yeah.
They're furries and they're
got
furries.
20,
furries
I got
and
20
pro
new
wrestling
followers
fans.
on Twitter. I'm a little bit worried now.
I mean,
Hey,
that's
you're furry, you do you?
your problem.
This was quite jarring.
That's your problem. You're the one who likes pro wrestling. They probably also like pro
Isekai
wrestling.
wrestler has got me into a world that I was not ready for.
True.
Pro wrestling is only one step removed from furries.
Oh no, poor JD.
Tori, can I play a drop and you can go on to your quest about titties?
Yeah.
Okay.
Go, 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 Astro Boy!
Alright, move on with your titty quest.
Okay, so speaking of furries, no, I'm joking. I am still doing my cleaning my plan to watch list quest, and it's going great. It's been a while since I watched a few shows, but we are now up to F, and F, I decided to watch Freezing. Freezing is a
Congratulations.
show from winter of 2011.
Finally, something
Produced
good.
by, I know, right? Produced by Studio ACGT. It's 12 episodes, and it was directed by Takashi Watanabe, who has directed shows like Senran Kagura,
No, great show. Really good show.
as
Look,
well.
Senran Kagura is actually a very good show.
Is it? I know they
It
make a
is,
video. They
it
make
is.
a lot of video games about. Well, there's titties in it.
Well, I mean,
Really?
there's a lot of
Really?
titties in it, but it actually has a very profound and well thought story. It's just buried under a lot of ass and titties. Yeah, just like Freezing.
But we're not talking about Senran Kagura.
Just
now,
like
okay?
Freezing. Alright, I complimented it. Just like Freezing.
Okay,
It has
there
a
we
very
go.
well good thought story, but a lot of buts.
But a lot of bots, and that's what I like. Anyways, he also directed Ogenki Clinic, and if you know, you know.
Sorry.
Hickey knows.
Picky notes.
Anyways, summary from Anime Planet says, Earth is under attack by other dimensional threats known as Nova, and only the Pandora, girls with special implants that grant them enhanced physical abilities, can battle against them to protect the planet. The Military Academy Genetics helps train the Pandora, who must choose a younger boy known as a limiter to assist them in battle. Bridget L. Sadelizer, known to her peers as the untouchable queen, is at the top of her class and lets no one near her. What the fuck? That is until new student Kazuya Aoi falls into her breasts one day. I hate having to scroll back and forth. I lose my way. Yeah.
I have the Anime Planet agenda written.
We should really do Ogenki Clinic OVAs one day.
Sure.
Anyway, Freezing, yes.
Freezing, yes. So basically, as you heard, Freezing takes place in this world where you have these girls who are set to protect humanity from these monsters. And,
That was for you, Tori. I heard
Thanks.
your phone go off.
yeah. Anyways, yeah, so these girls, they use their special abilities that allow them to fight these monsters. However, they do need their partner to help them out, so that they can, because there is this field that these monsters come out with. It's called a freezing field that essentially just freezes everybody inside of it. In order for them to traverse that, they need their partners to use their freezing abilities, kind of cancel that out, and so they can move. So,
Right.
Battle tactics. Essentially, their partner is literally, in every way, essentially the same thing as being married. You also have to spend the night together, and, stuff like that. And yes, this is a fan service show, but this is a good fan service show. This is about tits and action. This is about totalitarian systems abusing people. whatever. Anyway, that's not the point. That's not the exciting part.
It has a really, really in-depth. It has a really good story behind it. The problem is, you probably will drop the show before the actual story starts.
I don't know, man. I love that first episode when you just get introduced to like the fucking training that the students there are doing, and they're literally just sending students out there like straight up. They're not quite killing each other, but they're goddamn close, and that is their training. And I'm just like, Jesus Christ. It's like, you're doing this for the good of humanity. And I'm like, my God, what is this? Did the Nazis win? Like, what the fuck happened here?
No, that is just the Japanese system as a whole, I guess.
But yeah, nah. But they can have their, as long as it's not lethal, they can have their wounds healed, and they can have their limbs replaced. All that. It's all good. It just hurts. It's fine.
Yeah,
They'll live.
It's okay. Who never lost an arm, right?
Exactly. You're just mentally scarred. It's okay.
Oh,
it's fine.
It's okay. That's why you have a little boy with you that will satisfy your needs. It's fine.
Exactly.
It's okay.
Right. Exactly, and that is what the show is about. It's honestly
having little. Anyway.
Yes. I mean, yes, it is what the show is about.
I know, but no. I mean, no, it's not. Kind of.
There's another plot going on.
Kind of.
But it's
kind of. Yes.
It's still there, and it's very present. The only thing is that Bridget, the main girl, she is the untouchable queen, and nobody's allowed to touch her. She is the number one at school, and she doesn't want anyone to be her partner. Then, because of the...
she's got a big rack as well.
Everyone
has. JD, that was a redundant...
Yeah. So anyways, when Kasia enters the school...
Gotta make it clear.
When Kasia enters the school, he mistakes Bridget for his sister, who was passed away, who was also part of the Pandora, and...
sister fetish incoming.
Yeah, so he kind of just like runs to her, even though she's in the middle of a ranking battle versus the second ranked girl. So because of Kasia, Bridget ends up losing her title of number one ranked and becomes number two ranked. So, fun. But despite this, Kasia is very insistent on trying to get closer to Bridget and becoming her partner, at least eventually. And he does. Who would have thought? That if you just keep pushing and don't take no for an answer, then eventually the girl's gonna... Okay, that sounds bad.
No, please keep going. No, come on. I understand. I mean, it sounds bad, but it's actually what happened in the show. So
it is. He doesn't push her. It's not that.
Man,
He's just like, take me as your partner. No, take me as your partner. No, take me as your partner. No, take me as your partner. Fine.
Yeah, he just won out of. Yeah, I just love it. Like she's fighting, and he comes running, screaming on Echan, hugs her, and start like I don't know, nose. He has oh my god, he just start crying and rubbing his face against her boobs while crying, and it's very depressing to watch.
Dude, I just think it's hilarious because it's like when you see that. Because we get the flashback.
His nose is running as well, and he's just going in. Just
yeah, but not even that. You look at them, and it's just like they don't even look the same. They're not even remote. His sister's black-haired.
Yeah.
Fucking
yeah. I remember the manga as well. The manga is what? It's like they showed the Yone-san. And I was like, I don't know. This little kid might have some eye problems.
You think so? Yeah, no. I understand, like, the whole point of it is that they wanted, the whole thing with, like, the fucking, the Pandora to have these, like, implants in the back of their back. That essentially gives them their powers. And essentially, the idea there is that, Bridget and his sister has the same aura because of these, because they're the same. Spoilers. The chips. She has the same chips. Parts of them. Kazuya's sister was a weird experiment who had more chips implanted in her than anyone safely should be able to have. So, yeah. That's essentially why he mistakes her, but it doesn't make sense, considering the fact that, he can see her, I would assume, unless he's blind, which I guess is also possible. And, yeah. Generally, a lot of the show involves around Kazuya just getting bullied, because, of course he does. Getting bullied by girls, and
be saved by
he doesn't get bullied by girls.
Yeah, this show. Yeah, being bullied by girls and being saved by a stronger
Titties.
girl.
You can say it.
He's not saved by
titties.
titties directly. He's saved by people who have titties, aka females.
No.
I don't know, man. There's some really fat guys out there who also.
Those are moobs, okay? That's a different thing.
Okay. All right.
But yeah, no, it's again, like, it's a fun show if you're into this style of weird comedy and action.
But with moves. Sorry, I just thought about it.
Hickey, stop.
I'm sorry.
No one wants this.
Sorry.
No one wants this.
I know no one wants it, but my mind works in mysterious ways and just gave me some.
First you picture JD naked, and now this.
Not JD naked. I thought JD making people naked. That's way worse.
Okay, I'm such a
You're right.
I'm such a definition of a male specimen that Hickey just can't help but envision my
Envision a
lustful
little
birthday
boy
suit on a daily basis.
rubbing his face against your moobs. I guess not. Okay, I guess that one is going to Twitter. Huh?
Hashtag me too. This is going way off topic.
So it's because it's freezing. There's nothing much to talk about freezing. Yes, it is a highly acclaimed sci-fi show. Look, it is a highly acclaimed show. You cannot say otherwise. It is a very good sci-fi show. Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely a good sci-fi. It's like I said, it's a good fan service action show is what I would describe it as. Like, if you like action and you don't mind fucking tits in your face all the time, then you're one of me. Then you're one of us. But that's what you're getting here. And in that case, this is one of the better ones. Like, there's an actual story here to go with it. It is not just like, here, look, tits.
Yeah.
Although there is still that. So
it's in a,
as long as you know what you're getting into, you can have a good time with it. Is it gonna be your favorite show? I don't know, maybe. I don't know you, but I'm gonna assume not. But if you're just looking for some mindless fun with some decent story, some okay action, I won't say that the action is animated particularly well, but it's serviceable, it's fine. That's freezing.
Very fun.
All right.
And that's the second season, which I will also talk about later.
True.
Oh.
There is also a second season. Oh no.
Yeah.
Yeah. It sits in a really interesting group of shows that look like just almost porn, but it actually has a really good story, like Seiko no Kaiser and even High School with Dad. Those shows are I don't know, just weird. They have everything to be a very good hentai, but they decide to have a extremely good story behind it.
Yeah.
The 2000s. The 2000s were very weird in this regard.
Listen, people know what they like, and I like it.
I want ass, I want titties, I want a very interesting story of a subplot with totalitarian regimes and really awesome sci-fi. Okay.
Exactly.
Not too much to ask for.
Yeah, not much. It's men in the high castle with moe girls. Anyway.
Playing the drop.
Go Speed Racer, go Speed Racer, go Speed Racer, go!
Alright, Hickey. Take us away into this next segment.
Sure. I'm the guy with the problems inside of my mouth, but we won't make you talk. Alright, cool. Anyway, now it's time for the segment where me and JD reveal a manga, manhwa, or webtoon, which we call a checkout. So this time is the 20th. Well, we did 20 of those.
Yes.
Checkout, and it's of a manhwa available on Webtoon, which, by the way, made a partnership with Crunchyroll this week. Called
Really?
Yeah, I didn't look it up. I saw on Twitter. I don't know why are they going to do with it, but we can hopefully expect maybe a few anime. Would be interesting, done by Crunchyroll, for example.
Webtoon itself made a deal with Crunchyroll.
Yes.
Well, but
I'm
like
gonna go ahead
they
and assume
can
that has
buy
something to
they
do
can
with,
buy the rights for the webtoons and make something out of it.
I mean, they could have done that anyways, but like, I assume that this has something to do with that. This is somehow related to the whole Tower of God thing, getting an anime and whatnot. I assume that's part of this.
Probably
So,
they can also do like with those. Well, the same thing. There's a Japanese webtoon thing. You pay subscription, but sometimes they do animated series for the web, like for the app. So you can only watch if you have a subscription and you have the app. So they can also do that. Usually it's not good animation. It's just a interesting thing to promote in webtoon. So maybe some stuff will come up. Who knows? We need to wait. And it's a webtoon called Solo Leveling. It's a Korean novel by Chugong, later made into a webtoon by artist Ji So-ryong and Jeon Sung-rak via Kakko Page webtoon, and was released first in April 13th of 2018 and spans 82 chapters currently. JD reads the summary because that was your pick.
Okay. Yeah, so just a little background on Solo Leveling. It's arguably, next to Tower God, the most popular webtoon out there currently. If you go over to my anime list and you look up Manhwa, it's the top-ranked manhwa, so I figure, why not? I've never read it. Hickey has, so it'd be an easy one to go into, and it's pretty shonen, so it's right up my alley. So the summary from Anime Planet is, 10 years ago after The Gate that connected the real world with the monster world opened. Some of... Yeah, sounds familiar, right?
No. Never heard of a gate before.
No.
Well,
Some of the ordinary, everyday people received the power to hunt monsters within the gate. They are known as hunters. However, not all hunters are powerful, aka created equal. My name is Sung Jin Woo, an E-rank hunter. E is the lowest, by the way. I'm someone who has to... I don't know why this is in the first person, but okay. Someone who has risked his life in the lowest of dungeons, the world's weakest, is his moniker. Having no skills whatsoever to display, he barely earns the required money by fighting in those low-level dungeons. At least until he finds a hidden dungeon with the hardest difficulty within the D-ranked dungeon. In the end, as he was accepting death, he suddenly received a strange power, a quest log that only he could see, a secret to leveling up that only he knows about. If he trained in accordance with the quests and hunted monsters, his level would rise, changing from the weakest hunter to the strongest S-rank hunter.
It's a good synopsis. There's a few informations missing, but it's for the sake of people going out and checking it. For example, one thing that I believe it should be said in the synopsis is, if he doesn't do the quests, he dies.
Well, no, there's a punishment.
Yeah, there's the punish. Yeah, that's right. He even goes to the punishment twice. Yeah, if I remember, I thought that he would die, but then yes, he goes to this desert with the huge insects that they're just way too high level for him.
Yeah, so I'd never read this. I'd never heard about it until I just kind of looked up, top ranked manhwas or webtoons or something, and this came up. Ironically enough, it's not actually on Webtoon. I had to go to my little Manga Rock app to find it, because it's fan translated.
Rip
and, you
Manga
do
Rock.
notice every once in a while. Yeah.
Rip Manga Rock. We will miss you. I mean, you come back as a paid service, but we will miss you.
Yeah. Anyways, so this guy Sung, that's how I'm gonna say his name from now on. Sung is he's not a loser by any means. He's just weak, right? He's not a very good fighter. The story doesn't really make clear how hunters exactly come to be. They just say, oh, you receive powers and you become a hunter. From what I could tell, when these gates opened at first, I guess these people were crystallized through the opening. And then when they bust out of the crystal, that's how they get the power. That's just my theory on it, because it didn't go into it at all. I read the first 15 chapters.
Oh,
Just get a real good first impression.
I think I went way more than you. I don't remember when I stopped reading it, but there's a reason why I stopped. I started reading on April 13th.
The day it came out.
Yeah, the day it came out. So I actually was a avid reader of it until some stuff happened. And I don't know. I didn't like it, but we'll get there.
Okay. So, Sung has a sick mother in the hospital and a sister that's about to go to college. So he has to make money. So he has a regular day job from what I can tell, and his side job is being a hunter. And when you go into the gate and you destroy monsters, you get crystals. So think of like Dan-Machi or any RPG where an enemy will have a drop. You get the drop and then you can exchange it for money. And of course it's worth X amount depending on how high a level the monster is, etc. And it just goes on like that. But because he's weak, he can only go to the extreme low-level dungeons and do raids with other hunters. In this case, he rarely goes to D. He mostly goes to E, something in accordance with his skill level. He always gets hurt because he's a weak person. And what's interesting is nobody really holds it against him. They just kind of make fun of him a little bit because he's so weak. And people are actually excited when he shows up because they're like, all right, easy street. We're going to get some easy money today because he's here. Awesome. So I kind of like that style of writing where the guy's weak because he's not an auto loser, right? Where they bully him and kick the shit out of him and steal his lunch money. What we normally see in these sort of instances.
That's so sad. Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
right?
I know. We're just talking about Tower of God and he being bullied.
People talk about what they know, man.
Well, I mean, I was bullied in school, but at least I stood up for myself with blood pipes. But anyways,
yeah, no, I mean, it is an interesting mechanic, but it's like people are like glad to see him because it's like, oh, I'm not going to die today. Oh, thank you, because people die. A lot of people die.
Well, okay, so I wanted to kind of lead into that. So they're going through. The raids gathering together. This one guy goes, hey, I'm a C-ranked guy. I'm the highest among the group. You guys mind if I'm going to be the leader for this mission? And everyone's like, yeah, sure. Why not? One guy's come. He's like, yeah, I got a second kid coming on the way. I just need the extra cash to get by. I got bills to pay. So like they immediately make all these people seem like real people, right? With real lives outside of just doing this. And just kind of in passive conversation, sort of, they explain kind of the rules to the universe with if the gate stays open for 7 days, the monsters that are in that gate can come to the real world. So there is a real purpose to doing this. And the Hunters Guild, the people in charge, a higher power, if it's an E or D ranked mission, they kind of go, you know what? It's low ranked. We're gonna concentrate our efforts on the higher ones. Makes sense to me. Well, as it turns out, as they're going through the gate, we learn Sung has kind of a relationship with this girl. I don't remember her name right quick, but she's a healer. She's a B-ranked healer, but she suffers from kind of she succumbs to fear pretty easily.
PTSD.
So that's why she has a little bit of PTSD essentially. So that's her reason for being there. So everyone kind of has everyone has a reason for why they're at this place at this certain time. I quite like that, and it didn't really go into heavy hitting dissertation of it all. It's just like, she suffers from fear. That's why she's here, and this is all being explained kind of within the action, where it's like a simple phrase or sentence that explains it. I really like that. So Solo Leveling does a really good job in setting the rules and explaining characters without dissertation. It's quite good. I liked it. So they're destroying all the monsters, going about their business, and then they discover kind of this hidden area. They call it the what do they call it, Hickey? The double zone or something?
Oh, I don't remember. It's been
Something
like
like
a
that.
long time. Yeah, something like that. Like they go inside and there was like an extra room or something. They go inside and it's like there's a bunch of statues. And they need to survive the statues attack, and something will happen.
So they get into this area, and there's big doors in front of them. And they go, unless you destroy the boss of the gate, right, of your zone, it won't close. So they have to do that. And they go, well, boys, we got two options. Either we go by protocol and call in the guild to help, but then our money's going to get extremely diluted, or we go take care of this ourselves. This is a D-ranked dungeon.
Yeah, it shouldn't be hard, right? I mean,
it shouldn't be hard.
The guy who comes and no one dies here, the worst hunter of all, so it shouldn't be a hard boss.
Yeah, so everyone kind of has their own reason.
Famous last words. Shouldn't be that
so
hard.
They go into this dungeon room, and it sets it up really well. It sets a good atmosphere, a lot of mystery behind it. These things are giant, massive. There's the largest ones at the front and center of the room, staring, and there's a placard that has 3 rules on it. It's like, praise the god, respect the god, and then prove your faith. Right? Something like that. And they don't really think much of these commandments, right? And then, all of a sudden, one guy tries to get out of the room, and a statue moves and cuts his head off. It's like, oh shit, lots of blood. So you're like, alright, that really sets the tone for, people can die, and it's a very real danger. So again, thumbs up. Then our character Soon gets a very bad feeling, and he starts thinking about I guess it's intuition. He's like, everyone duck. The lasers shoot out of the statue, destroys like a good 2/3 of the party, right? People's arms have been lasered off, legs are destroyed. The girl's now cowering in fear because she just witnessed like more than half the people just get disintegrated, essentially. They have to. So then Sung starts solving the riddle, and then of course it's to cut to the end of this situation, because it's done very well in progressing the fear and danger of it all. People dying slowly, and eventually the prove your faith is go stand at the center of the altar. All these flames go off, and it's almost like a timer. You have to all stay there and sit it out. However, people are so scared that the doors opened when they get into the altar, and they start leaving one by one, saving their own skins. Makes sense to me. And then, of course, our Brody Sung, over circumstances, is left alone, and this video game thing comes in front of his face. It's like quest completed, like quest line completed for activation, second summoning or something, and essentially gets a second life out of it all. He wakes up in the hospital. He's no longer like impaled and all beaten up. He's totally fine. But now this video game thing is in front of him, and it says, complete these daily quests or, suffer the punishment. So he doesn't think twice about it. The guild's all asking him questions like, hey, there's a thing called second summoning. Let's test your power. He's still weak. Whatever. What a waste of time. And he cuts to him. He's like, I guess they couldn't see this fucking thing in front of my face. Doesn't think anything twice over the quest. He's like, I'm in the hospital. I don't want to do that. And then time passes, and he wakes up in a desert, and he has 4 hours to live before surviving the punishment time frame, right?
Yep.
And that's basically where I stopped. And so, I think it really set up everything quite well to the character, the people in the world, the rules of the universe, and we have a goal now. We knew his goal to begin with of getting money for his sister and mother, but now he has a second goal of getting stronger so he can get more money to support them better. And of course, if he doesn't do this, he's punished horribly. So there's kind of the outline. He has to do this no matter what, anyways. So it's pretty cool. I love it. I know I dribbled on about the story a lot and how it's set up, but it's very much worth talking about, and I think it's worth reading. I really like the art style to it. It reminds me a lot of Tower of God, but not as much. It's not as much action focused as it is setting it all up. I expect the action will come later.
Yeah, I mean, it is very interesting because even though when he's actually stronger, he keeps being the underdog. So it's very interesting. The problem is he gets a very powerful ability. And he still keeps being the underdog for a while with the special ability he has. But then he becomes like, I don't know, arrogant? I don't know how to describe it.
That makes sense. You get drunk with power.
Yeah,
Sure.
It's like he honestly don't really care anymore because he's way too powerful. He cuts his hair, start looking like a Korean boy band member.
K-pop guy?
Yeah, exactly like a K-pop singer. And that's where I stopped it. I wasn't interested
He goes
anymore.
full emo Spider-Man on us.
Yeah, I wasn't interested anymore. It fell quite a lot, at least in my concept. But until
Do you remember what
get
chapter
there,
that was at?
like 60, 70. There's a lot to go, like 50, 60s. It's very interesting. I think like he fiddled a little bit with the second awakening, and there's items that drop, and he can equip himself with armor that is invisible to everyone except him. Things like that.
Cool.
It's interesting. It's very interesting. The problem is, honestly, later they introduce the guilds, the most powerful guilds and things like that. Mm-hmm. He tricks one guild into buying, because the guilds, they can buy portals exclusively to portals, and he tricks a guild to do that, and then the guild start fighting for him because he's way too powerful, and you want a second awakened guy in your party because they are rare, and what that means is the person had a increase in power, because once you awake, your powers, they don't evolve. If you're a C rank, you're C rank. a second awakened is a guy who was in a rank and then he stepped up to another rank. And they realize this guy has something interesting at him because he's still rising in power. So they start fighting for him. There's fight for exclusivities of portals and a lot of other things that happens. It is interesting. I guess I just stopped liking the main character. That's a huge problem. But until there, yeah, there's many chapters to go. It's very interesting. Should check out.
Yeah, highly recommend. I will be definitely continuing this one. I'll probably, because I'm getting back into Tower of God as well. Continuing on with that. After the Hell Train arc. Hell Train? Is that the right name for it? Hell Train, right?
Yeah, I think it is.
Yeah. Continuing on from there, and I'm definitely continuing on with solo leveling. I'm very interested.
Good.
Maybe I'll. Yeah.
Once you get to the part I dropped, I can hear your opinion and see if you agree with me or not on the main character.
Yeah, we'll definitely have to do a quick little. Maybe that can be just a Manhwa checkout. Is what are our thoughts on like these continuing points in solo leveling and Tower of God? I'm sure Tori wouldn't mind talking about that some more, wouldn't he? Maybe.
Sure.
Yeah. Second season of Tower of God. It's very interesting as well.
Yep.
All right. I will play the next drop. Let's stick with the old 60s and 70s drops and move on to the summer 2019 anime reviews. Here we go. All right. 2019 summer anime reviews. These are the anime that came out in summer and finished, or the spring season shows that finally finished in the summer. Tori and Hickey have 3 shows. I have 2. I dropped a few during the last couple seasons. Just wasn't worth finishing. So Tori, why don't you start us off with your first show?
Sure. And my first show is Araburu Kisetsu no Otome Domo yo, or O Maidens in Your Savage Season. It was a 12-episode show produced by Studio Leidus, based on a manga by, oh my god, Mario Kada. I like her name. Anyways, yeah. So, honestly, this was one of those, I remember, me and Hickey, we went through this season, and I remember stumbling across this show. And kind of making fun of it. And we got to the staff. And there were quite a lot of surprises there, including Mario Kada. So I was just like, well, I guess I gotta watch it now. But let's just get through the synopsis first. The synopsis from Mal says, when they were little kids, laughing and playing together, Izumi Norimoto and Kasusa Onodera were like siblings, but as their bodies matured into middle school, Kasusa began seeing him as something different. Unfortunately for her, so did the other girls. Ostracized, Kasusa had no choice but to distance herself from him going into high school. After joining the literature club, however, she finds friends that keep her mind occupied. Known throughout the school for reading aloud sex scenes. Yeah, basically, they read literature with sexual references and whatnot, and they do so with bravado, laughing at saying it really loud. People can hear them. The club's reputation has kept all teachers from accepting the task of being their advisor. During a discussion about what they would put on their bucket list, one of the girls says one thing: sex. This single word sends ripples throughout the 5 girls, as the thought of sex begins taking over their daily lives. And after walking in on Izumi during a very private moment, when he's in the middle of watching his favorite anime.
Yes, his favorite movie. That's a movie. It's his favorite movie. Questionable preferences.
I mean,
you know,
yeah,
it's okay.
I would have liked something a little bit more exciting, but that's just me. Anyways. So yeah, as she walks in on him, and after that, her mind is kind of just filled with sex and confusion. So now,
as one would.
Unlike what you might think, no, this is not a particularly lewd show. However, it is essentially it's a coming of age tale, sort of. It's a drama about girls growing up, kind of maturing, going through teenage years, the angst, when you learn about sex, that fascination with that whole thing. Your body starts maturing, changing, and it's a very very interesting take on that, because normally it's something that kind of just gets glossed over as romantic feelings, but here it's just like, do I want to have sex with this guy? Or if you're Kasusa, everything essentially starts reminding you of sex. Even just the act of a train going into a tunnel reminds you of penetration. So, all of a sudden everything is lewd.
It's a Mario Kart show. I was like, I was about to say, oh yeah, there's a few exaggerations. I was like, oh no, wait, hold on, that was written by Mario Kart. Of course, there's a lot of exaggeration.
Yeah, but I feel like it. I like it in this show. I like the exaggeration. It makes sense. Like a lot of it makes sense. Now, I will say, for a while, I wasn't quite on board with the whole drama thing. Not because it's necessarily all that bad, but because it was more like when I looked at it, it's like, this is a drama. And I'm like, are you sure? Because I'm laughing so much during every single episode, because this show is absolutely hilarious. So I'm still a little bit iffy on the whole drama thing. Is it really that much of a drama? There are dramatic moments, but I wouldn't really say that the tone of the whole thing is all that dramatic. I said it's generally fairly lighthearted and kind of comedic in tone, but no, I honestly thought it was a good show. I enjoyed watching it. I enjoyed just them kind of exploring the whole, different girls in the literature club exploring themselves. Not that way. Bad choice of words there. But as they kind of start to realize that as they see everybody else around to kind of talk about getting boyfriends and stuff like that, and they start to I don't ever want to do that. I don't want to be a part of that, and then kind of find their own little boy that they like, or if you're one of the girls, the teacher. But whatever. Nothing shady going on. Okay.
Well, no.
Guy. I'm not into kids.
There's one guy in that show that is actually into kids, and it was one of the drama moments. I have a few reservations. Especially that last sentence. You don't remember, do you? You just went quiet instead of laughing your ass off. So I guess you don't remember. But that's okay.
I'm not entirely sure what you're getting at now.
When Izumi and the guy, the little girl, they are together in the train, and she's like, yeah, everyone is happy and all. One of my friends is gay, but it's okay. And they are inside of the train, and they go into the tunnel, and it's just like it fitted of like, god damn it, it was a wholesome ending. And of course it's Mario Kart, she had to ruin the ending by but it is an interesting show, especially if you like shoujo and josei. Every single story, you have three of all the girls. You have three types of story that collides, three styles of story. You have the new modern kind of story, which is ageless. It's not a shoujo, it's not a shonen, it's just a story. You have a heavily shoujo story with the senpai who changed her visual.
Yeah.
And you have you also have a shoujo story with main character, but you also have like a more josei-like story with the teacher and the best girl, which is the writer, and the albino girl, which was abused apparently when she was a kid. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, again, if that's one of those things, it's like it's a little bit.
Mario Kart,
but at the same time, it's like I don't know. I appreciate it, but like that they would go there. Although I do still think that I don't like the whole the whole pedo guy thing. It's just like I feel like at the end of the day, that man should have had something coming. Yes, they made a whole. He never touched them, any of the kids, as they were kids. Yeah. But I mean, still. You can't help it. That shit's
he
creepy,
admitted
okay?
he works with kids because he likes it. But yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, his thing was like, his whole justification was like, I do like kids, I'm into kids and stuff like that, but I don't want to taint their purity because that ruins their image in my mind. So yeah, I'm not a dangerous pedophile, I'm just a pedophile.
Yeah.
Sure.
Cool. Yeah, it reminds me a lot of
pedophilia
Lolita.
under control. All right, you got it, boss.
Yeah, like it is definitely a step forward from in the direction of a good writing from Mayoiga. Although by a lot, but although there's some lows in this show, and those are my reservations that go way too close to Mayoiga. I think in the manga it would be better than it was portrayed in the show, especially some romance stuff. But the show from time to time, it reminded me of Mayoiga. I understand. it was just my impression. It's just like there's some stuff that got some people crossed with the wrong idea, I guess. It made the wrong impression in me, and when I checked out the manga a little bit, I was like, oh, okay, it makes more sense here in the manga than it made in the show. At least the impression I had was a little bit different. But it's a fun show. It was weird for a Mario Kart show.
Yeah,
really
and honestly,
weird.
that's one of the things that I've got to give props there, because one of the things I like Mario Kart stories, generally speaking, but one of the things that I've gotten very sick of, and I also understand that this is not solely by her own will, but she has kind of been forced into this role of she writes one story very well, or people really like her stories about a young girl growing up, who has family issues, because Mario Kart can relate, because she also experienced that, and I feel like at a certain point that became every story she wrote. Like, it's like literally everything that she made was like, our main character, she has problems with her parents, and yada yada, trying to find her own way in life, yada yada. And I'm just like, I've seen this like a million times from her now. It's the same thing again, just a different coat of paint and maybe a little bit of a different backdrop. It's why I really didn't care for Makuya, for example, because it's just like, yes, it's interesting. It's an interesting angle, but at the core of the show is once again just family issues.
Family issues. Yeah,
it's I'm so tired of that. So that's why Araburu, I really liked that, because it went away from that and it allowed her to explore something different. And that's just like, and I'm like, yeah, see, here we go again. Now she's back to showing that she can write a decent story.
Oh no,
it doesn't always have to be about fucking
I agree. I think
family issues.
With or without the family issues, I think she can make a decent story.
Same.
Still not decent enough, but I can give props to her because she tries a lot of different things. Come on, although we like joking about Mayoiga, it's extremely different from what she does.
Well, yeah,
with the amount of characters, the amount of main characters, the type of story, all the things.
Yeah, but Mayoiga's different. Like,
I know.
Mayoiga's not her production alone. She was hired to do that.
I know.
Mayoiga was the director's brainchild, and that guy is a weird man who, for whatever reason, he doesn't think horror should be scary. He thinks horror should be funny. and I don't get him. But he also made another, which I mean, I guess that worked better as far as comedic horror goes.
Still, she accepted. It was a little bit of a challenge, but the problem is, I think, although she can make decent stories, she has a little bit of a block. And I think those type of things like Araburu will make her go past that block, especially like I'm trying to say is with conflicts. If it's a conflict she can't relate, probably because she spent most of her time writing stories, she could relate to the conflicts. Now that when she tries to do something that she doesn't relate quite much, doesn't come as good when it comes to the conflict. And Araburu has a bunch of useless conflict. I don't know. It just crossed me. Yeah, it just crossed me as.
But I mean, like at the end, that's.
And
I feel like that's kind of the point, though, right? Because
from someone.
You're sitting there,
Mario Kado, like Mario Kado was a need. She was a hikikomori from a very young age. So a lot of things in Araburu she didn't experience. And so she doesn't relate that much. It's still good. I just,
Yeah, no, but I mean, here's my problem with that. Like, I understand the whole like a lot of things feels useless, and I agree. It's one of those things with like, what I like to say, like adults will always look back on and go like, that's not even an issue. But I feel like that's kind of the thing with a lot of these, like, especially when you try to go into like the whole teenage frame of mind, a lot of issues aren't issues for teenage, like when it comes to teenage drama. It really is nothing. It's just when you're a teenager, your emotions are, and your, puberty is going through, and you're going through puberty, and emotions are running high. All of a sudden, everything seems like a huge issue, right? And I feel like that's, again, one of the things that I personally feel like really comes out in Araburu, because like a lot of things are, they're absolutely useless. It's not even close to being a problem, minus the pedophile. But they make it a problem. But they blow it up to be so much more than it actually is. But of course they do. They're teenagers. Every little thing that gets in their way is like the fucking end of the world. It's like, fucking, how will I ever survive past high school? I don't know. Japan doesn't really have a good track record of that. But hey.
Yeah, no. I'm not talking about. I wasn't talking about like those confusions and problems that surface. And I agree it's useless in that sense. But I was talking about that. I was talking about some plot points she used as a matter of generating conflict between characters and advance in the story. I don't think they were good. I think they were quite useless. It was in that sense. But when it comes to the situations in the show that they blow out of proportion. Yes, it's a little bit exaggerated, I would say.
Well,
not useless, just exaggerating.
It's dramatized, as they say. If you want to
not only it's not only dramatized. It's like when they start thinking about XX and everything reminds of penetration. I'm like, all right, look, I was a horny teenager as well, and it was just it was there. It's not even useless. It's just exaggerated.
Yes. No, but again, that's what I mean, right? That's where the comedy aspect of it comes from, because it's like I was a horny teenager too. I remember first looking at women when they started to develop boobs, and I was like, I'm interested in this. I can't exactly remember that I ever looked at a train going into town and I went like, ooh, that's lewd. But I mean, props to you if you did.
That's probably because you. I mean, I can give you that, because I wasn't thinking of getting penetrated, so maybe toil.
I wonder how old I was when I finally looked at that Looney Tunes episode of the train going in the tunnel and went, hot. Wonder how old I was.
Rewind that and play that again. Yeah.
Was it 13 when I watched that Bugs Bunny Roadrunner episode?
But yeah,
play that again on VHS.
Yeah. Anyways, let's just keep going. I don't know, but it was good. I gave it a 7. I liked it. You should definitely watch it if you haven't.
I gave it a 7. I like it. I can relate to that.
What do you mean? Of course I did.
I know. That's why I said I can relate to that. I think I also gave it a 7.
Okay.
All right, Hickey, you're up.
Yeah, so I'll talk about, I guess, Dumbbell first, because that will be very short. There's not much to talk about it, and although it's a show there's not much to talk about, my animal list has like a essay of 20 lines of synopsis.
That's a lot of muscles.
There's a lot of muscles. Basically, you have a high schooler called Hibiki, and she thinks she's fat. She's getting fat, although she looks fine, but regardless, Japanese people. So she decided to join a gym and then, at the gym, she finds one of her classmates called Akemi. What happens is, Akemi is not going to the gym because she is fat or needs to work out. She's going to the gym because she has a muscle fetish. And so, it's just the story of Hibiki with her friends making exercises and going to the gym. That's basically it, but it's extremely funny.
Yeah, no, definitely. It is a straight up comedy. It's based on it's based on a short manga. Was it a 4 comma?
Yeah, it's a manga.
No,
I don't think it's a
but was it
4 comma. I think it's
No.
an actual
Yeah, I
thing.
only read one chapter of the manga, but it's been a while. I don't remember.
It's great. It's great because for a comedy show about girls making exercises, one thing that was really recurrent were people watching it and going out to make exercises. I started exercising again because of this show.
Yeah. The comedy is great, no, but one of the things that's really I like the addition because what they do is kind of they have these they have the exercise of the
The
episode.
Machio class.
Right? And then it's
let's talk
Machio
about
will teach you-
Machio, which is like
Machio.
this Bishonen Japanese guy that sometimes explode his clothing, and he's just a bodybuilder.
Yeah. No, but he teaches you kind of the basics, like how to perform stuff, like what to watch out for, how to do it, how not to do it, yada yada, and then they show it and then end it with a fan service shot because of course they do. So good. Anyways, that's kind of, and at the same time you have the at the end, after the ending, they have that little training session at the end as well, and it was just I like it because I know Japan has a weight problem currently, like a lifestyle problem, and you wouldn't think so, but people are either extremely underweight or overweight, but that's besides the point. So I do think it's kind of an interesting way, just get these weebs exercising.
Right, and it worked. This is the problem. It actually worked a lot. Not only because the exercising bits are funny and very sexy from time to time, helps you. Like I said, if you go back a few casts and see what I talked about the show, it's the manga just awakens a lot of fetishes. Especially with when it comes to navels and armpits, but regardless, not only it's fun, it's interesting. It reminds you of the 80s with all those exercising tapes.
Oh boy, do they play into that!
Oh, a lot, so much, and it's great. It's really, really good. There's even half of episodes dedicated of watching 80s exercising tapes. It is really, really fun, and one thing that contributes to it being extremely fun are the characters and the voice actresses. They did a very good job interpreting the characters, and the characters are very well written to complement it themselves. Not only when it comes to the exercises, because some characters are good at some types of exercises than the others. So, it shows you better how to do the exercise and how it affects your body, but also to make you interested in this show. To make you watch women exercising and be excited and laugh with it. Especially Machio bits are just confusing, yet interesting. Hibiki, Akemi, then you have the Russian girl, Gina, Ayaka, which is the boxer, and then even the teacher, the droppy eyes teacher who's into cosplay, and that's why she wants to have a perfect body to cosplay better, which is Tachibana Sensei. It's very interesting. Then later you even have an Arnold Schwarzenegger clone, which was great. And, you know, it's a very, very fun show. Probably the best comedy out of last season. And it gets you pumped to go out and exercise. So it's a win-win.
Yeah. I also, because like we talked about obviously the 80s references to like 80s workout, but I like there's a lot of like 80s references in general, just like 80s action movies.
Oh
like,
yeah, like
80s, like
probably
80s,
because of Arnold Schwarzenegger is a huge thing,
like
because he was a bodybuilder in the 70s and 80s and then became an they even say like, oh yeah, you are that guy, because you know there's censorship in anime. they need, sometimes they want to talk about a movie, and they reference the movie but not talk about it because of, you know, copyright. And the sensei is like, oh, they talk about all those movies, and you can see like it's like the Commando, it's a very bad Arnold Schwarzenegger movie from the 80s. They talk about like all those movies, and Tachibana Sensei is like, oh, I know you, I remember you. You're that guy that is a robot and go back in time, just save a boy and say, I'll be back. And he's like, oh no, that's the other guy.
Yeah, I love that. It's like, what? No, that's not me. You have the wrong guy.
Yeah, he was like, oh no, that's
it's not just. It's not even just that. Like, it's not obviously to the Western movies, but it's the same thing. Like, in an episode, Machio cosplays as Kenshiro from Fist of the North Star.
Yeah.
Which I thought was hilarious.
Yeah.
But who is he actually? Well, he's Muscle Man. And he does muscle things. Oh, can you do the Kenshiro pose? And it's like, the Kenshiro pose? The one where it's like, you're already dead? Nope. Lifts weights. It's like, what? It's like fucking Tachibana says it's just there like, I don't even understand. This doesn't even make sense. What the?
Yeah, like even the idol contest where they go and instead of like dancing and singing, they just lift weights. It's like it's great. Like the Iron Arm competition where Hibiki just explodes her clothing as well. There's so many things. There are JoJo references. There's everything. It's very interesting, very fun to watch. It's definitely a must-watch from last season.
Yeah.
Let's see. I gave it an 8. Very good. Should have given it a 9.
All right.
Go, JD.
My turn to finally speak.
Yeah, bring.
No, actually, let's skip JD.
Bring the mood down because of your shows.
Yeah, unfortunately, I was looking at the shows I've been watching just from 2019 in general. Not a lot of big hits for me this year. You know, Mob Psycho, Dororororo, and then it's rough after that. So, Demon Slayer, we've gone on a few rants on the show previously already. So, instead of going along those lines again where Tori and I both said the show starts off pretty hard, not very intriguing, really hits home too much on, you know, oh, my family, I'm so nice, oh, sister. Introducing...
Well, never say that again.
Yeah, well, that's what the show does.
That doesn't mean you should do it.
Well,
yeah.
Not a pervert.
Sorry.
I'm a pro wrestler. Yeah. Anyways,
Of course.
we slowly get introduced to the little cast. All right, big positive. I like the fight scenes. I like the battles.
Well, UFO table.
Right?
UFO table fucking doing amazing work.
They're doing
UFO table things.
It's just like, yeah, but it's not even just like UFO table doing UFO table things. It's like the attention to detail they went to the scenes, like even the slightest things, like even the fucking like water effects.
Yeah.
And,
the music, the
just,
scores.
Like, yeah. The
music,
score,
the color
palettes. The background sounds, like just the fucking like the ambient sounds that you get when they fight as well, like the whole breathing thing, the whole like how everything just kind of tones down, and the screen will kind of black out a little bit, and just like there's so much goddamn, and then obviously just straight into Sakuga fagging. I can sit there and watch those gifs over and over again.
Yeah. UFO table. Big thumbs up to what they were doing with this piece of shit show.
Wow.
Because this is a great example of a fantastic studio not being able to, in my opinion, of course, save bad writing, bad characters, and a very slow plot. All right? When I did watch the entire season, and besides me getting really into the fight scenes and the battles, I slowly started not liking really anything about this show. When it was all said and done, Hickey, you kind of confirmed what I was thinking, where this was heading, where our main character is supposed to get stronger, but there's still the, what are they called? Hashigari?
Hashira.
The Hashira are going to be the main focus, because they're the strongest, and they're going to go up against the top demons, the 12 moons, the 10 moons, however many moons there are. So, those Hashira are heavy trope characters. Heavy tropes. Too much so for me to even handle. And this is coming from a One Piece fan, where the whole show is based off of trope characters. The difference is, in One Piece, I feel like there's character development, backstories. I didn't get any of that at all through these 20-plus episodes of Demon Slayer. All I got was what I already knew from the start. The sister turned into a demon, doesn't eat humans, and she's the sister. There was a cool scene where she got a blood demon power, but that was just part of the action. And our main character stayed exactly the same, and the surrounding cast are annoying trope characters with no redeeming qualities. Period. So, I lost total interest in it, and I'm very disappointed in what Demon Slayer became, and just not into it. I won't be continuing the show. I gave it a 6 out of 10, and that's only because of how great it looked, how great it sounded. Everything UFO Table did got it a 6. The story, the characters, nothing. Did nothing for me.
You see, I disagree with you, but I don't care enough to actually rant here.
Well,
I think it's
just
unfortunate.
my opinion
I think it's unfortunate. One, because you're not continuing it. I think up to the Hashira introduction, it is a little bit before the spider fight. Up to the spider fight, it looks very like an introduction to everything, and it's way too long. I agree with you.
Yes.
When we get to them recovering in one of the Hashira
Butterfly
houses,
Mansion.
yeah, the butterfly mansion, it gets more interesting, and it's when our main guy starts picking in power with the new technique he's developing.
The breathing technique. It's not even a new technique. It's just, using the breathing technique that he has been using is like, well, the Hashira they do that all the time, 24/7. They never stop.
Which begs further the question: if everyone already knows this development of power, why didn't his teacher say anything along those lines? Why didn't the other students know this? This seems like a major training.
I think it's gradual. They say that the problem is like they didn't explain it because they didn't get to that part yet. But there's a training arc as well. After that, yeah, but like it's a general training arc where everyone goes through training. Every single Demon Slayer goes to the training. So at that training, they kind of explain that to everyone, right? The newer ones. But to get there, you need ranking up. After the next arc, they explain they've been ranking up. They just don't tell you.
That's the kind of writing I'm just not a fan of in the show.
Yeah.
It's
I
just
understand
so all over the place. It's very inconsistent.
It's a big problem because, like
really
I said,
takes me out of it.
all those characters, they look like tropes. Each one has a arc where they are the main character. They explain how they get to the Hashira position. The problem is, and I don't agree with that, the first one where they explained major things of this show, like the fire attack Tanjiro can do, where his power comes from, why the scar on his head is changing throughout all the 24 episodes. You probably didn't notice that, but it changed.
No, didn't notice it at all.
Yeah,
I was pointed it out, so I did notice it eventually.
Yeah, why it's changing. They will explain all of that through a movie.
Oh.
And I don't agree with that because not a lot of people will be able to see that movie outside Japan.
Well, will they explain it all though? I know they're gonna do the whole train thing, but it's the entire thing takes pain that.
They explain a lot of things because he goes to the flame Hashira, like the flame breathing technique, and for some reason they are very hostile against the flaming technique he uses, and there's a whole background story to that. It is explained by the end. Like almost the end, the flame Hashira gives him a tip, and he pursues the tip of why he's able to do that technique. But the problem is they will explain all of that in a movie.
So I think what could have been improved to get me to want to continue watching this. I get that the goal is to eventually beat Big Bad Vampire Guy, right?
Yeah.
But the goals to get there are so uninteresting to me. And they're not clear enough, like, why? Why should I care about these side goals? Like, he's just going to get... To me, it's very simple. Get stronger, get strong enough to beat big vampire guy, and we go home. Right? The other goal is, of course, to change his sister back. But as far as we know, it's either going to be a simple, like, serum administration, or you just kill the vampire guy, and then it's like the curse is lifted kind of thing.
Well, what they've kind of been hinting at so far seems to, because the demon that they saved, I don't remember her name now. The one
doctor.
who was the doctor who was gonna save her. She wants the blood from all the 12 moons, and I'm gonna go and assume that the entire idea behind Nezuko's kind of being turned back. Yeah, I assume that's gonna be relevant to that. But I guess we'll have to wait and see. But I don't know. Like, I don't entirely agree with you. I do agree with part. I do think that there are things that they could do to improve the characters, and I do feel like a lot of the times they kind of just leave the characters for later, which isn't ideal. I get it. It's a shonen manga. It's in Shonen Jump, and it has to be interesting to teenagers all the time. So therefore, let's push that out. Let's make sure that people are interested first by showing them cool battles. But
yeah,
I mean,
don't
as far
deny
as
any of this.
As far as I'm concerned, like, I think Demon Slayer has a lot of good going for it. I still really like I said, I like the idea of not telling everything. I do like the idea of, like, allowing the viewer to figure stuff out for yourself, like the whole thing with the demons. That, at this point we can pretty much assume that they are former humans being turned demons, because we've also been shown that. But that's the sort of stuff that I like. Yes, I agree that they could improve the characters, but as far as the whole story goes, I'm still on board with it. I still enjoy it. I think this is one of the better shonens I've seen in a while.
Yeah, one thing I also disagree with JD is the thing of ranking up. When we see all the shonen, they have a reason to cut all the secondary things and focus on getting stronger and going through everything, training, and better, more powerful enemies, so they get to the big bad guy. Usually because they are the main character, a true main character. There's nothing against him and his goal unless outside his own strength. In Demon Slayer, however, he's inside of a corporation. He cannot do that. It's the same thing as A and Shobotai, although A and Shobotai, they still have the reason to why they can go and, suppress a lot of secondary things to get to the goal. And A and Shobotai is, we are built to investigate the other guys. But I cannot ignore the secondary things. The same thing goes to Demon Slayer, where he's not the main character. Right? Per se, he's not a true main character. He's just a soldier. He starts as just a soldier. Oh no, but my sister is turned into a demon. So what? The big bad guy doesn't give a shit about you. Doesn't give a shit about your sister. The corporation you work on doesn't give a shit about you. Doesn't give a shit about your sister. They just need you to go and kill demons. That's your job. If you want to investigate, if you want power, if you want resources, then not even become more powerful, just acquire higher ranking.
I get that. I totally get
so they
that. I get
cannot
what the
cut
show's going
off
for
the
in a lot of
things.
things. But what Fire
But I understand
Force,
you. I honestly don't have any reason to fight you. But I completely understand your point.
No one has to agree with anything I'm saying. It's just this Demon Slayer show suffers from a lot of things that really irritate me in anime. Whether it's the procrastination of a lot of plots, not leaving the breadcrumbs, seemingly resetting arcs. I've been on record before that irritates me more than anything in watching a shonen. Black Clover did it time and time again. Why I dropped the show. It's what Bleach suffered from after the Aizen arc. Yu Yu Hakusho essentially did it to an extent after the Toguro arc, right? The Dark Tournament. So this is not a new thing that irks me, right? Demon Slayer just seemingly did it every time because it's that whole I'm part of the organization thing. I'm part of this government group where he just goes to job, and from the circumstances of coincidence, and it always is, the supposed breadcrumb is laid. But it's not a breadcrumb. He just comes in contact with the next demon, and it's kind of like what Baki happened to an extent, where he was always seemingly too weak, and when he gets stronger, he's still too weak. I got no sense of accomplishment, and the only sense of accomplishment that did occur was when he was at the Butterfly Mansion training in something that he probably should have been taught before he even got there, or at least been told about. Like, hey, you're still a beginner. In your next level of training, you're going to do this, which I see in something like One Piece or Naruto, where there's always those the rank up, as Hickey mentioned too. What Fire Force in the same setting does well is the plot is intertwined, the story is intertwined with this whole government organization, and the investigation is a key part to it, and why you're going to different areas. It's why you're meeting these other people. These people are stronger. You're a rookie. And he's still the main focus.
What Fire Force kind of fail at? What Fire Force?
Fire Force has a lot of other things it fails at. Yes,
Fire Force does not by no means trust that you either care or are even capable of keeping up with what's going on, because they will take any excuse to pull you out of what's happening, whether it's for a joke or for some sort of fan service. And at this point, I'm getting kind of annoyed by it because obviously, don't get me wrong, Soul Eater was the same way. There's a lot of weird cuts to inappropriate joke and whatnot, but it's kind of the charm, and I liked it. But I feel like in Fire Force, it's so much more. It's like that, but turned up to 11, and I've been multiple times.
About to say the same thing.
I don't even care anymore because it's like I'm sitting there just like, well, it doesn't matter what you're going to say because whatever you're going to talk about, whatever you're going to have figured out, because in 2 more minutes you're going to break this up with some sort of joke and then cutscene.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
Fire
I mean,
Force.
yeah.
I mean, just a side tangent on Fire Force, because I see a lot of correlation with the story, just the way the story's told. And I think Fire Force has a positive. Now the cut fan service dialed up to 11. Yeah, I agree, Tori. It throws you out of the whole continuation of the story. Let's put it that way. Demon Slayer suffers from too much negative in my eyes, where I can't look at the positive and say, man, I want to continue watching the show. I don't care about the Hashira. I don't care about them. I want to know about the goal and the continuation to that goal with who is supposed to be our main character, but instead we have Zenitsu constantly screaming in our face the whole time. And as Tori, your problem with Fire Force, my problem to an extent as well, is when that keeps happening, it takes me out of it.
I guess so.
Anyways,
I think when it comes to Demon
I don't want
Slayer,
to keep going on about
your
it.
biggest problem are the characters. The problem you faced can be explained through the characters. Because Boar Guy doesn't care, Zenitsu doesn't want to fight, and Tanjiro is way too passive to think about better ways to become stronger.
The characters are a huge issue, yeah.
So when you say, oh, why he doesn't know this technique? Well, probably because he never asked. Literally. He's way too passive of a main character or a shonen character at all, so he just goes with the wind. And when
That's
you
actually
goes
a good point,
with
because
when you goes with the wind,
he
people
doesn't
needs
know.
to tell you everything. So he didn't know because he never asked, or he never tried to get stronger through training. He just all right, I'm just gonna, I need to get stronger. I'll do the same thing over and over and over again. And he doesn't have that frustration of shonen characters of, I failed.
Yeah, why am I not getting better? I fail. He just kind of wakes up in the hospital and he's like, thanks for taking care of me.
I mean,
Yeah.
JD, you watched Attack number 1. I can't tell you what to do. You need to figure it out on your own.
Look.
But even at that time,
coaching in sports anime is one of the most frustrating things.
even
I
in Attack
constantly
number 1,
watch.
we will get there.
So
But
bad.
even in Attack number 1, they asked.
They did ask, okay, how can we get stronger? I never got that in Demon Slayer. Anyways, let's move on. We got fucking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more shows to talk about, and we're how far in?
No, man,
Hour
we
and a
need to
half.
talk about Demon Slayer more. No.
No. I'm done with Demon Slayer. I know a lot of people love the show. Hey, it's just not for me. It does a lot of things I don't like. So, let's leave it at that.
Okay.
Who's next? Tori, you're next.
I am next. Yeah.
Is
So
this a titty
the
show?
next show.
Is this about titties?
I wish it was. I mean, it kind of is, but no.
It's about revenge. Fucking.
Yeah, it's about revenge porn.
While you guys go on and talk about
Oh,
these
no,
next,
that's
next
not
two shows,
about
I'm
the
gonna
revenge
I'm gonna make
fucking.
myself more
Sorry.
coffee, so I'm just gonna step away for a little bit.
That is just revenge porn. It's not the revenge fucking. That's another one.
Arifureta?
Arifureta.
Okay.
That is the show. It's a 13 episode show actually, produced by Astrid and White Fox, based on a light novel.
Why White Foxes?
I don't know, man. Anyways, the synopsis from Al says the ordinary life of a 17-year-old otaku, Hajime Nagumo, is disrupted when he and his classmates are summoned to a fantasy world and tasked with saving mankind. While his classmates are gifted with impressive abilities, useful in combat, Hajime is belittled for only getting an inferior transmutation skill that lacks any real offensive power. I do not remember him being belittled at all. I remember there was one guy who really doesn't like him. But other than that...
I mean, he got
really
betrayed.
He got betrayed, yeah, but nobody
He got-
came to him
yeah.
like, ha, you're weak. It's like, it was that one guy that everybody else was like, don't listen to him. He's just an asshole. But anyways. So, yeah, during an expedition in the great Orcus Labyrinth, Hajime is betrayed by one of his classmates, plummeting him to the bottom of an abyss. Though he survives the fall, Hajime is faced with menacing monsters and misfortune that send him spiraling into a grim nightmare. Desperate to live and return home one day, he resolves to fight for his survival, only to meet an imprisoned vampire he names Yue, who is also asking to escape the labyrinth. Taking an interest in him, Yue and a few others along the way successfully accompany Hajime on his journey to find a way back home, while steadily transforming from commonplace to the world's strongest. So yeah, basically, this is about a guy who gets summoned to a world, and he is really weak, but for some reason he joins them in the dungeon to fight, because why wouldn't he? And yeah, one of the guys, the probably least... the most obvious betrayal of who betrayed him ever. But anyways, so it's just he gets betrayed when they get attacked by a giant monster that they can't defeat, and he gets sent plummeted into the abyss. Nobody saw it. Nobody knows. They just saw him fall. So now he is struggling to survive. He ends up losing his arm, and he ends up almost giving up, but then he decides to fight back, and then he becomes badass and starts fighting back against monsters and kills them. And to survive, he needs
girls
to eat their
and
meat.
shit. And, yeah.
He needs to eat the monster's meat in order to survive, which tastes like shit, but apparently doing so turns him into some sort of half-demon.
Yeah, it's because of his ability.
Yeah, right, the transmutation.
He can assimilate.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
No, but even still, it's kind of fucking weird.
I didn't see the anime, but I've read the manga, so I think one of my friends said, "No, read this manga. It's great. It's so bad. It's horrible." I'm like, you were contradicting yourself. You just said it was good, and now you're saying it's horrible. It's like, yes, it is extremely horrible. And then he starts fucking some girls, and then he fucks a vampire girl and a bunny girl, and then it's still horrible, but it's fun. I was like, okay, good enough. I'm gonna read 100 chapters of this manga.
Yeah, no, I mean that is essentially what this comes down to. I know a lot of people don't dislike this show, but a lot of people like the show at the same time. Like in the sense that this is one of those shows that for a lot of people it's an example of so bad it's good, right? There's so much shit, there's so much edge, there's so much power fantasy garbage that it's just like it becomes so full of itself that it becomes enjoyable in a way.
Yeah, and it's a harem where the guy actually fucks the girls. That is extremely rare.
And he picks one girl, and then everybody else is like, I want to be a part of your hair. No, he picks one girl. And then it's like, everybody's like, I want to be a part of your...
He fucks bunny girl as well.
No, I know. But he's like, I'm going to marry you. And then it's like... But then it's like...
She's just the main bitch of the harem.
Well, not at first, but to be honest... at least in the anime, Hajime wouldn't have added anyone to this goddamn harem if it wasn't for you. Because at the end of the day, she's always like, why don't you just bring him along? And it's like, sure. Okay, fine, I guess. Minus the whole dragon woman who just decides to join on her own. It's like, what are you going to do? Send me away? Fuck it, I'm a pervert. I like neglect play. But yeah, no, it's complete bullshit. It's really bad. Like, really bad. It has some enjoyable moments, not because it's good, but because it's just so bad.
Just bad.
However, that being said, the biggest thorn in my eye when I'm watching the show is the CG. Because boy, does this show have bad CG. It is just appallingly bad. Like, I'm not even talking about, you know the horror fucking, like, CG crowds, like, oh, they look so, janky and stiff and lifeless and horrible. And yeah, try the monster CG in this show. It not only looks horribly bad, like just as a full-scale model, a lot of the fucking enemies that they throw at us in this show aren't even finished fucking CG models. They're unfinished, unrendered models that just looks like they're not even at the same fucking resolution as the show. It looks worse than Berserk. Like, I don't mean the movement. The movement in Berserk is terrible. But I'm talking about just, like, the general, like, look of the monsters when you look at them. It's like, one of the fucking monsters is so fucking grainy in that show. It's like, the show fucking is reduced to 140p whenever it fucking appears on screen. It's horrible. It's just, I can't. And this show got a second season. This show, people like this enough that it's worth getting another season. We're talking about the problems in the anime industry and how animators are underpaid and fucking have to work god-awful hours just to finish. And then at the same time, this is considered good enough so that they should make more.
Look, man.
Yeah, of course. Let's reward the people who are like literally saying like who are literally like being like, you have a week to finish this show.
Yeah, I mean, we all know that the Japanese cultural industries intellectually failed. So I guess this show, just for the first part is cool. When he's inside of the dungeon eating monsters, I think it was very clever.
Yeah,
but I don't know how many episodes is that. Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, the survival part is awesome, but once he survived, it's just a normal isekai harem-ish, where he actually fucks someone.
Okay. I don't know, I just kind of lost interest when his hair turned white, and I'm like, okay, I see where we're going with this. I understand now. It's like, yep, that's and here comes the edge, and then it's like, fucking, what's my can I use my transmutation for? I can make weapons. Oh, cool. What kind of weapons? Guns.
Guns.
Guns. It's such an inefficient weapon. Why do you make something that needs ammunition? Fuck off.
Okay.
Yes, it's overpowered, but it's like, fucking, why would you make something that has to be reloaded? Are you retarded?
Yeah, no, don't worry about it. It's the Japanese cultural industry is intellectually bankrupt, and shows like Arifureta are good enough to get a second season. Are good enough to not be canceled as a manga. We know that from the 2000s. It's just getting worse, unfortunately. At least you can have fun with this one.
At least this season is better.
Hopefully. Hopefully. We just,
So far.
What did you score that show, Tori?
I gave Arifureta a 3 out of 10.
Almost. You said it was so good.
And I didn't like Demon Slayer. It still gave it a 6. You hated that show.
This
well,
show
it's because it's because Tori's weird score thing where it's so bad it's good. That's why I said he did it a 4.
But I don't even think the show is that good. But it is one of those things. It is enjoyable, but there's no denying it's a bad show. Like, you can sit there and you can have fun. You can look at the shit and like look at the horrible teacher, just be like, that's funny. But you're not gonna come down for it and be like, you know what? That was a good episode. That was a well-written episode. That made sense in any way.
It's the type of show you watch out of obligation.
Yes.
It's that one you left in a corner and there's nothing to watch, and from the 4 hours, daily 4 hours you get for anime, at least for me, it's like, alright, I've spent 30 minutes watching one episode. I still have 3.5 hours, and then like before sleep is like, alright, fine, I'll watch it, because if I don't watch it next week, I'll have 2 episodes of this shit to watch.
It's the sort of trash fire that you just have to watch because you're like, I want to see this burn. But yeah, no. Don't watch the show. It's not worth it. Not that you know that it's bad. That was kind of a huge shock. But now that you're aware, don't watch it. Save yourself the trouble. Wait for something else. Wait for some other horrible show. Watch some good. Watch Freezing instead. That's at least fun. That's at least
true
in its own way.
That is
I wonder
true.
what the show's Mal score is currently.
6.48.
It's way too high.
So not as bad as it could be.
It is the 5th most watched show from last season.
It is.
Yeah, because
Jesus
people
Christ.
like edgy things. Like this show is the manga is fairly popular because
Yes, it
people
is.
like edgy things, and the same way the anime industry is intellectually bankrupt, the fans are also intellectually bankrupt. I'm sorry if you're listening to this podcast about anime and made by anime fans and got insulted by it, but I'm including myself in it.
We're all just a bunch of idiots.
Yeah, I've come back to reading like classical literature. I'm reading I'm reading a bunch of books because my mind, I realized that my mind was going numb. So
Now I'm just picturing Hickey sitting there with some classic literature and
You still know how a scale works.
yeah,
Hickey's
I
sitting there
came
with classic
close
literature in
to
one hand, and he's got a fucking ecchi manga in his other hand. The best of both worlds.
yeah. No, I'm reading A Catcher in the Rye right now, and that's great. It's been great. I finished.
Four games on his PC.
Yeah, because like honestly, if you nowadays if you watch a lot of trash anime, honestly, it will be bad for you intellectually. It is that bad. It is that
I think
bad.
that's an over exaggeration, but okay.
Nah, he's
It is
absolutely
not.
right.
It is
You
not.
watch dumb shit, you become dumb shit.
Yeah, it
Don't
is
be ridiculous. Hickey.
not.
People are already stupid even before that. Ugh.
Hickey, what's your next show?
Talking about that shit that will numb your brains. My next show is Craft. I thought I should talk a little bit about it because it is a show made by Milpens. And that studio is an interesting studio because they were responsible. But sorry, I can't say it with a straight face, so I just laugh. Berserk 2016 and Berserk 2017. Yeah.
Good talk.
was-
Next show.
it was better than expected. This show, and my analyst is just going in with a synopsis, the isekai type of synopsis, but basically 15 years ago, a gate opened in the Pacific again, with going to another world, and basically a bunch of inhabitants of that other world immigrated to Earth and came to the city in the middle of the Pacific that came to be known as San Teresa. And we follow a buddy, like a two cops, one being from Earth called Matobake, and another one being from the other world. She's a knight of the other world called Tirana, as they solve mysteries and crimes involving various activities with magic and artifacts. You know what? It was better than expected, but I wasn't expecting anything. My bar was lower than JD's jaw bar when it comes to evaluating performance. Honestly.
That is a low bar then.
It was extremely. Come on, man! They did Berserk 2016 and 2017. If I had a higher bar, I would be just a douchebag with with this studio.
Tori, I'm pretty sure he's making that up. That never existed.
Yeah, I don't remember it.
Look, you can deny it. You
No,
can
I
deny
can't.
its existence.
I will deny that Millipens exist. Millipens has not done anything other than TQ. That's the only thing.
I'm pretty sure they only have done TQ. I think that's fact.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
This
great.
show, had a lot of production problems, but that was expected.
No.
The CG was Buzzock 2016 CG, especially the characters. The good thing is,
I think you misspoke. TQ 2011, right?
can we
CG.
just
Fuck you.
Whoa,
right.
whoa, Tori.
All right. Let's see if I can do that without jokes about that show not existing. The CG was the level of very angry guy who got raped as a kid 2016. Especially the characters.
It's quite the metaphor.
But
Plot
they
point.
knew that, so they didn't use enough of it, which is good. The problem is, they also had a lot of problems with animation and getting the characters to stay in model. They tried to do a stretch and pull technique in the fights, but not succeeded. Probably because the animators didn't have the finesse or the technique to do so, which is sad. But by the end of the day, it was fun. Honestly, I wasn't expecting much, and I had my share of fun, especially in a season where nothing was honestly that good. So
Yeah, summer was a very disappointing season.
yeah, so this show I was it was very, very fun. Very, very interesting. The story is interesting, and some other things are interesting that happen. Unfortunately, if we go back some podcasts, especially when we started and said, oh, all the shows, if you don't like, you shouldn't judge old shows by its looks. You shouldn't, judge a show by animation and looks because they can be very good. But this show, sometimes the animation and just straight up illustrations are so off-putting that it can damage the interesting story they're trying to, tell you. Especially because the animation, even the fights, lack a lot of punch, lack a lot of impact. The things happen and it looks like a drawing in a paper, not in a 3D environment with bullets impacting and sounds and things like that. Yeah, it's not really good and can damage the amount of fun you're doing. But as a alternate mystery detective kind of show with those kind of magic elements, which we don't see that much, just can remember of Wizard Barristers. That is not a good show as well. It was fun. I think I gave it a 5 or 6, but I still have my fair share of fun. And do that make the reputation of the studio go up after Very Angry Man that got raped as a child 2016-2017 show? No, not really, but I'll probably watch the next anime they do as well, because they are definitely in the right track to recovering the reputation they never had.
Alrighty, it's time to review loosely my second and last show of the season. I meant to finish Fruit Baskets, but I don't know, I just didn't feel compelled.
I finished it. Oh,
You
just
did?
flexing on you. Yeah, I finished. I mean,
I did too.
It's shoujo.
watching.
It was
I'm watching Fruit
shoujo.
Basket Season 2 when that comes out too.
I guess I just wasn't into
It's very shoujo.
a
Very
shoujo mood. So, nothing against the show. But anyways, Dan-Machi Season 2. Something that on paper, I shouldn't like. Dan-Machi Season 1 was just something I had a lot of fun watching as an anime fan. The main character is a naive doof, to say the least. But he's a lovable naive doof. They even call him,
Question mark?
Usagi-san?
Usagi-san, yeah, because he looks like a looks like a
little
bunny.
rabbit.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got the white hair, he's got the red eyes, kind of situation. Anyways,
He's small and naive and a lot of
Yeah.
One's sons like to try to rape him randomly in the streets.
Just like bunnies.
So,
Just like bunnies, come on. Oh no, you
so
know.
season 1 is you're in a world where everyone wants to be like a dungeon explorer, and just like how we went into solo leveling, you start at a low level and you slowly rank up. The ranking's a bit not totally. I mean, you're level 1 or 3, I suppose, in this one. But anyways.
Well, they're like level 5s in second season.
Oh, yeah.
It's just-
as well.
Yeah, they tell us a couple more, yeah. But anyways, everyone's part of a guild, but the guild is headed up by a god. Now, whether this god is from like Roman mythology, Greek mythology,
Japanese
Sure.
mythology.
yeah, whatever it might be.
There are some Nordic mythology as well, because you got Loki.
Yeah.
Loki.
Japanese. There's all. It's gods. They just essentially just said all gods. Placed them. They're up there. They all exist.
Yeah, they're all up there. I guess
Unfortunately,
they got bored in heaven. They came
There's
down.
no
they...
Jesus guild. That would be interesting.
That just proves that he isn't real. Oh!
Oh!
Oof.
People get upset when you call it Christian mythology. Did you know this?
I know, right? People also don't like it when I call it a cult.
Well, I mean, so first season was basically the ascension of our little main character Bell, kind of coming into his own and getting strong to some extent, and it ends on a high point. And season 2 kind of starts off at a fast pace with people are now becoming, they know who he is, and a couple of the gods have this strange obsession with him.
Yeah.
Yes, the random trying to rape a little guy into submission, no matter if the
comes
god is man or woman. Apparently, as we
Oh,
learned.
right. That is true. There's a lot of the gods want to. Well, I mean, if we know our Greek and Roman mythology, how that happens,
Makes sense.
it does make sense to a strange extent. But anyways, there's a war game situation, and it's really cool. It happened bang, bang, bang. It's quick. It's to the point. I quite liked it. I spoke highly of how the second season started. Now, where it kind of loses me is this drawn out middle to end, where you get, is it Aphrodite? No. Yes?
No, it's Ishtar.
Yeah,
Ishtar.
Ishtar.
Yes,
Ishtar.
Ishtar wants Bell, and she kidnaps him and wants to basically make him lose his mind in sex. Let's put it that way.
That's what she does.
Well, I mean, that.
She's Ishtar.
I think the more annoying
she's
part about
the
that is
god
that
of
it's not
myth-
even. That's not even her goal. That's just kind of what happens because, of course, they're in the red light district, and then it's like
Yeah.
the Amazons find him, and they're like, he's cute.
He's
Then
cute.
eventually
Let's fuck him.
then eventually he's presented to Ishtar, and he's like, mine.
Oh, Litoruruki.
Oh, it's
Oh, no.
Oh, Aphrodite wants him. Well, how about I break his mind?
Yeah. Ooh.
Back to mind break.
So Belle meets a fox girl, and she has the ability
No.
to do
A fox
temporary
girl
level up.
prostitute.
Yep.
She's a
Well,
prostitute.
Well,
prostitute, quote unquote.
yeah,
She's still a prostitute.
she's still technically a prostitute, even though she's never had sex.
Never
Anyways,
done anything.
but she does.
She's
feel
just
religious
look.
somehow.
She
Just
sure
because,
believes,
just
yes.
because, just because she's a bad prostitute doesn't mean she's not a prostitute.
Well, Hickey, you're absolutely right on this. I back you on that statement.
She's a pure prostitute.
So, it's kind of fun, but it really drags on with the whole feel sorry for her, save her, what implications are there going to be? It turns out there really isn't.
No, there is. He just doesn't give a fuck.
It doesn't give that.
I mean, like, I like parts of it. I do like the whole like interpretation of like hero stories and like the whole like I don't or I can't be saved because I'm as a
I'm
prostitute.
tainted.
Yeah, I'm tainted
yeah.
as a prostitute. A prostitute shouldn't be saved. They're
There's a lot
always
of,
seen
yeah,
as
there's a lot
and-
of stories where if you take on a sullied person under your wing or what have
No, but-
you, It
Not even
always
that.
becomes the destruction of the hero. So
Yeah, exactly. But that's the thing, right? Because in hero stories, it's always said the prostitute is, there to lead the hero astray. It's the bad person, right?
right.
So it's like and that's I do like that, but obviously that's just like a little conversation they have in the midst of everything, and it's like everything else around that. It's like it's okay, but
Well, that's
I don't
how I
know.
felt
Not
about
as
a lot of
exciting.
this. It's just okay because
Well,
I kept
JD,
thinking.
Well, I
kept
mean, it's
thinking,
done much.
Let me finish.
yeah, it's Dan-Machi.
It's not like I don't
So,
like the first season of Dan-Machi. I think that second season was wonderful compared to the first season.
Well, the first season I felt had that purpose and goal. He wanted to get stronger. Then the big bad showed up. There was a big epic scene. The second season I felt wanted to put more conversations and story into it. Where I think it faltered a lot is everything kind of fell flat with me. Did you guys feel
Yeah,
it,
that's
like
the-
some of these
Well-
arc conclusions fell flat?
Yes, but like I said, I don't like Dan-Machi that much. That was one of my problems with the first season. I thought the second season would be extremely worse. But hey, the final, like the ending of the first season, we have more characters, more interesting characters. And that was like that diluted a lot of problems I had, because my problems are with 3 characters that happens to be the ones with more screen time. Being Hestia, being Ainz, and being our little rookie guy. I do not like them. I despise them.
He got much worse in this season.
Yes,
as a
but you
character.
had
I
like
didn't
this. You have like
enjoy his,
you still have-
his screen time.
you still have the other characters having way more personality and way more character development than him in the second season. And I was paying more attention
that's
to
a major
them.
problem.
I was
that's
paying more attention to them because I thought they were way more interesting than Belle, and Hestia was almost never on screen, or when she was either
Perfect.
quiet.
And she was
So-
she was doing her clamoring over Bill. So
Yeah,
here-
so like for me,
here is
it's like
what-
this second season is better because I don't need to pay that much attention. On Belle, we have like the Fox Girl prostitute, which was an interesting character. I liked her. Ishtoi's story alone with Aphrodite, the last kind of battle, was fun, was interesting. The samurai girl sacrificing herself in her own story with the Fox Girl prostitute, Hime, let's call her Hime because there's another name before Hime, but I just remember Hime. It's very interesting. The little midget girl story with her own guild was very interesting as well. So yeah, the other characters are very interesting, and since we focused on them as well, the story for me was more interesting because I didn't have to be dependent on Belle and Ainz to advance the story. So for me, it was better. I thought it was way better, but still, everything falls flat because it is Dan-Machi.
everything
By
falls
the end of the
flat
day,
because
It is Dan-Machi.
it is about Belle and Hestia, and whenever I felt like the story would just be derailed every time this season Belle and Hestia came on screen, because Belle was whining the whole time. And yes, as he always is, but at least he would overcome that. And I get they were trying to do the same thing with Belle in season 1, but without a path that he had to take. His path this time was save the prostitute, right? And that whole conversation about leading the hero astray. I get it. But without Belle and when the season started, it looked like Belle and Hestia were going to start their guild, right?
Which was
their
great.
familiar.
I really
did.
liked
Great.
it.
And then it just stops on the dime because they meet prostitute girl. So it's totally sidetracked and derailed. I don't see why there couldn't have been. They couldn't have continued building the guild story rather than put it off, because I feel that that's where it's clearly heading. They gotta build this new guild up.
Quite simply, actually, because the author definitely don't think that that's what people care about.
Well,
And
clearly,
I think he's
exactly.
right. I think it's right because, like, at the end of the day, that's why I have to agree with Hickey. Like, I think a lot of the things, like, don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to say that your opinions are wrong or that like your flaws with the show are wrong, but it is at the same thing. Everything you say, I have the same reaction as Hickey. Yes, well, it's Dan-Machi. Like, they did this in the first season. It's like it's the same. They're just kind of regurgitating. It's more Dan-Machi.
Yeah, by the end of the day, it is Dan-Machi, right? It's like why they kept showing Einst in random situations throughout the show. I don't know. Well,
because it's Dan-Machi.
I know it's Dan-Machi.
I did like her severely less role in this. I did like.
Yeah, it's honestly a problem because I don't think they even went to the fucking dungeon once in this season.
Well, well, they did a couple times. That's how we got kidnapped initially. But...
Listen, that's good, okay? Because for this good world, this fucking other world, I don't even know, this world of the gods that the gods come to, it's incredibly shitty for adventure. It's like, oh, it's the fucking perfect place for adventurers. They have one dungeon. They have a single dungeon. That must be super boring after, like, going to, I don't know, like, fucking 3rd level, 4th level, 10th level, 15th level for, like, the millionth time. It's like,
True,
yeah.
especially, like, when you see something that is only one tower as well, which is Tower of God, every single place is a different place. Even when they get to the dungeon crawler aspect, because it becomes a dungeon crawler after a while. By almost the end of season 1, it is still way more interesting because every single place is more interesting.
Because they stay and they keep climbing. Like in Dan-Machi, it's like you go to level 10 if that's your limit, right? And then you can't go anywhere. Then then you return and then you try again the next day. You get to level 10, it's still your limit. You leave, you come back the next day. And it's like, that's incredibly boring. And even still, it's like, after a certain amount, you'd think that the strong guilds who just slayed everything on the way down, is there really anything left to fight at this point? I feel like this is horribly bad for, like, I mean, as an MMO player, you should definitely have more than one dungeon to go into. You can't just have one dungeon. That becomes very boring very quickly.
So the show does hint at, the bigger world at large, whether it was, I don't know, the really random Ares part where he kidnaps Hestia. This is how the show falls really flat at the season. And to me, I'm with you, Hickey. I really liked the prostitute kind of story. But there was no reason...
Like the prostitute.
Well, I kind of like the prostitute.
There was no reason to derail the main goal, which was to build up our familia and build Bell up in some way. Right? Do something.
Yes, especially because if you remember the last phrase of the first season was, "Oh, Bell is the great..." I mean, that's not a spoiler, I guess. Hey, I'm gonna tell a spoiler about Dan-Machi. If you don't know about it, please skip 2 minutes ahead of time. They say, "Oh, Bell is the grandson of Zeus." And like, oh, so the second season will come and they will talk about that thing. No.
Nothing, right?
No.
Yeah,
nothing. I'm like, why did they tell me then?
But
just so I know.
There was a lot. There was so many things.
Because
scattered.
It's Dan-Machi.
Yeah. Now you're getting it. Now you're thinking.
So there was that at the end of season 1. There was a lot of things told to us in season 2 that tells us of other plots and stories that are going to happen. But what was the purpose of season 2 then to develop anything towards that goal? It was just more Dan-Machi. And it's such a shame because I was pretty high on just watching a show for the sake of it being fun, and it tried to be way too serious for its own good. So the way the season ends, and this is how it falls really flat with me, is Hestia gets kidnapped randomly by Ares. Don't know why.
He wants to kidnap. He wants to prove himself. He keeps getting defeated, and he's like, how are we going to prove himself? Well, let's kidnap a goddess. That's a terrible idea. Sure, let's do it anyways.
And they do it anyways, and just before this, Hestia, just in earnest conversations, goes, "What if a goddess loves you?" And he just tells her the truth. I respect him too much. Whatever. And feelings hurt. But he's so naive and has no idea what any sort of adolescence is, what puberty is. he feels bad and he wants to apologize. And then that's actually not resolved in any way, form, or fashion. And then the music kicks and it's just like, all right, I can't wait to go more adventuring today. And what? That's it? What's the setup? And
None.
well, the credits play, and then there's that little. There's the scene. Okay.
They're coming
It just
back,
falls so flat.
and Hime just giving him a hug, and as the beta male that doesn't have any type of fucking testosterone in his organism, blushes and don't know what to do. Yeah. I mean, Dan-Machi doesn't have a good score, especially because, Sword Oratory, the movie.
The movie's
But still,
okay.
I mean, I honestly think I like raising aspect of things. I guess as someone who really loves idol raising games, I would be very interested in seeing a guild raising kind of thing. It's the reason why I started fucking what's the name, Fairy Tail to begin with, right?
Yeah.
But they just
Okay. I don't know about that, but okay.
oh, come on, getting more friends and going into adventures.
Getting more friends, going into adventures, having the guild shut down, restarting the guild, having the guild shut down again, restarting it again, having the guild destroyed,
look,
building it up
I
again.
said start. I said start. I didn't say continue and watching the Fairy Tail. It's two different things. But
So I wish
definitely,
Dan-Machi would have.
can't wait for season 3 so we can have more Dan-Machi.
I suppose there's going to be more Dan-Machi.
Well, yeah.
I'll probably end up giving it a try, anyways. But I gave it the same score as Demon Slayer. It's fine, I guess. It's more Dan-Machi.
It's
Yeah.
better. Well, it's better than first.
It was
Magic.
better than the Eyes story, side story. That was a
Oratory,
waste of
yeah.
time. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not even the ice. I mean, it is the ice story, but it's not like it's one that's just like, why introduce like a new character that has like no purpose of anything except for the end when it inevitably has to be like, in order to take care of this situation, I have to get stronger. Oh, by the way, she's also in the fucking movie, and I hate it. I'm like, why must you do this? Why must you add the side character?
Because it's Dan-Machi.
I know, I know. It's a rhetorical question, Hickey.
It's a rhetorical question.
So 50-50 on Dan-Machi with me. But I ended up giving a 6 out of 10.
Imagine going into Dan-Machi with expectations.
Yeah, what the show told me, those expectations.
You shouldn't believe what the show tells you.
Oh, apparently. All right. Tori, let's go through these. Tori, Hickey, let's go through these next two relatively quick here.
No, man, I'm going to take forever.
Please.
The next one is that I have is Kanata no Astra, or Astra Lost in Space, which is a 12-episode series produced by Studio Lurch.
I'm curious about this one. It has really high scores.
Yes, it does. It was one of the more popular shows this season. The synopsis says from Alice, in the year 2063, space travel is feasible and commercially available. As the cheerful, honest Arias Spring arrives at the spaceport to attend a camp on the distant planet Makpa, her purse is suddenly snatched by a reckless thief. Luckily, the athletic
What an
Kanata
asshole.
Hoshijima is able to retrieve it for her, and Arias soon discovers that he is among the group of teenagers who will be traveling with her on the excursion as Team B5. I thought it said BS there for a second. I was like, wow, what a name.
Team bullshit. Let's do it.
Upon arriving at their
You could call them the
campsite,
useless team.
Upon arriving at their campsite, the group's trip takes a turn for the worse when a strange sphere of black light sucks them into the vast reaches of outer space. Stranded with seemingly no hope, they find an abandoned ship nearby that provides them with the means to return home. However, they soon discover that they are not as close to their campsite as they initially thought, but are in fact thousands of light years away from home. With the realization
Oh, this
that
is the
9
Stargate
members
Universe
must...
show.
With the realization, the 9 members must cautiously manage their resources, maintain their strength, and unite as one to conquer the darkness of space together. While the reason behind their trip's sudden obstruction remains unknown, they nevertheless embark on the treacherous voyage back home aboard their new ship, the Astra. So, yeah, essentially, in order to return, what they have to do is they have to planet hop. They found that there is... they have to manage their resources so that they have enough food to make, and, gas and whatnot to make it to the next planet on their trip, because there is just enough planets in between for them to hop to. The planets are not welcoming; they are hostile generally, but I mean they're different. One is like half ice and half heat.
Yeah.
Like another one is like poison mushrooms that are like the dominant species of it and whatnot. Like it's an interesting. It's interesting enough. I do like that aspect of it. What I don't like about this show is the comedy.
Yeah, you mentioned a few things during, and I guess it was the impressions part where the show doesn't start off very well. But no, I guess a lot changed as it went on.
Not really. You see, what this show does, it tries to set up this kind of hopeless feeling a little bit. Of course it's hopeless. You're lost in space. They just get randomly sucked out into space with no hope of surviving until they notice that there's a spaceship close by, a small spaceship that they can use, and they manage to rescue themselves onto that. And then, obviously you have the kind of side plot of the whole, I was about to say murder mystery, nobody's died yet, but of the traitor, the guy who is on this team, who is responsible for them being sucked out into space, because someone has been tasked with killing them. And that's immediately interesting, because now you have this problem of these people have to work together to survive to get back home. But they also know that there's somebody here who wants them dead or has some mission to kill them. So, that's problematic. But, and all that is all fine and good. The problem I have is, like I said, it's the comedy. It is very, for its premise, it's very lighthearted. It tries to break up a lot of stuff with comedy and comedic moments. And while I do understand it is to kind of give them character, a little bit more personality, it does become a little bit cringy at times. Like, I really wish that it wouldn't always resort to comedy when in the face of danger, but it does. But it's okay. It's not horrible. It's just like, if you're not into that type of like weird like reaction comedy of just like, oh, he just used anti-gravity shoes to jump on out of a thief. Oh my god! Like, it's like, okay. Right? It's that's not my type of humor. I don't particularly like that. So and there's a lot of that. It's just somebody says something, cut to other guys go, oh my god, did she just say that? No way. It's like, oh, stop, please. I'm begging you. Don't do this to me. But yeah, no, the whole survival trip is interesting. Minus the whole thing of the traitor cooperating with them the entire way. Kinda, almost the entire way, which kind of, it's explained, although I feel like his reasoning for doing so, and I'm not going to say who it is, I feel like his reasoning for doing so is very weak and doesn't really make sense considering his end goal, but okay. So, but that aside, I really do like the whole trip through space. I do like the whole like just visiting different planets. Like if you remember, I've watched a show called Galaxy Express 39, and I really like that. It's not the same. It's not the same, but it's it is like generally just like a long trip through space, visiting different planets, seeing what's there, like how they differ, different cultures, different values, different societies, different levels of, advancement, technological advancement, like all that stuff, right? Now, Kanata Astra does not have that because every planet they come to is uninhabited, but they make up for that with different, ecosystems, different rules to abide by. Like, some planets have, obvious dangers, like obviously dangerous animals. Some planets have animals that seem like they could be dangerous, but are really just sweethearts and don't eat meat. Some planets have, like I said, there's a planet where the leading or like the top of the food chain is the mushrooms, the giant mushrooms that they have, right? They poison and kill everything in a kind of like as they kind of die into their like roots, they take roots into them and use them as food and stuff like that. So a lot of that is really interesting. And on top of that, like the characters are okay. They're not super well explained. There's a plot point with them all, and kind of the reason why these kids specifically were were thrown out into space, and not just everyone, or because they're not the only team. But yeah, so it does have interesting moments. I feel like it's a show that's very much like your enjoyment of it is very much going to be like, how much do you like the positives and how much do the negatives bother you? If the negatives don't really bother you that much, then you're really gonna enjoy the show, because it is a fun show. Like, I had no problems watching it. Now, it's got an 8.27 on that.
I was about to ask. I wonder why the majority of the audience is rating it so high.
It's an enjoyable space travel show. That's really all I can say about it. No, but I mean,
is it just 12 episodes, or did it hint at it continuing?
No, it's just 12 episodes. It ends after 12 episodes. When I say just 12 episodes, remember, the first episode and the last episode, I think, both of them, they are both an hour long. So, it's 12 episodes, but it's more than 12 episodes. It would be like, what?
15? 14, 15?
17 episodes in total. About there. So, like, it has time to tell the story. And it does tell the story. It's not like you're sitting there being like, wait, I don't understand. Like, you understand why everything happened. They tell you that. Like I said, the worst part is the traitor. His reasoning isn't bad per se. You can understand.
Was it like cabin sickness kind of situation?
No, but it's more like when he reveals kind of what and why, you kind of start questioning, but then why did you help them back? And the answer to that is because friends, but
it's the
Power
same.
friendship.
What's that show? It has the same thing. The heroes of the 9 petals. It's kind of the same thing, right?
Yeah.
It's like, why are you helping them? Why are you doing so? It would be easier to just, I don't know, explode, like make a malfunction in the whole thing and kill everyone at the same time. It's like, why are you helping them? Why are you giving those false flags that actually help them?
Yep. No, and there is a part of it. Like I said, again, his reasoning is explained, and you understand. But it is a little bit weak. Like, I do feel like, not, it would have just been like, okay, I was tasked with killing you all, but then we became friends and I decided to help out, and in order to ensure my own survival, I wanted to help you and then take you out at the end when we were safe and sound home. Except he doesn't do that, and he also tells you that his goal was to also die. You've gone like, then why help them survive? Literally, why help them survive? You could have achieved your objective by not doing anything. But nope. Okay. But again, like I said, that's only something that becomes apparent at the end.
All right, so I got 2 questions for you then.
It's fine. Yeah.
And then hopefully we can move on.
Mm-hmm.
What is the score of the show that you gave? What's the score that you gave the show?
Oh, my score. I gave it a 6. It's okay. I don't particularly like it.
So, would this show have gotten a higher score if it was more serious? Like the sense of despair is higher rather than the comedy.
If they for my liking, if they would have toned down the comedy or at least varied it up a little bit, I could have enjoyed it more. Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
I don't necessarily think like.
So that's kind of why I
be...
didn't pick the show. Like, I was curious about the show because I like the whole Stargate universe plotline of we're lost in space and we got to find our way home. I mean, hell, that's the whole Yamato thing essentially. The journey is the fun, right? But if you don't, to me, what makes these stories so interesting, same thing with Gundam, same thing with Macross. If you don't have that sense of serious dread and consequences, and it's not looming over you, you can have your lighthearted moments. I mean, there's no reason you can't. You know, you gotta have some sort of relief through the dread. Otherwise, you're just like, this show's a bummer.
Yeah, no, I know, right? And that's, yeah, I do agree. That's kind of what, like, I feel like the comedy, at least parts of the comedy, does get better, like, after you kind of go on the journey with them, when the characters get to know each other, and the kind of, like, jokes in between them as they get closer to home, and, you know, morale is rising, and people are, you know, more assured of their own survival, then you can definitely understand why everything is a joke. But it's like, right at the beginning, when they're trapped in space, why are they joking? Right? Like, you'd think that they would be scared.
You know what's funny?
And, I mean, they are scared, but it's
funny you
kind
mention
of flip-flops.
Because I'm probably one of the few Stargate universe fans out there, but they get transported into, you know, way lost in space situation. Those first few episodes, they are fucking out of their mind. Like, people are going cabin fever. They're like contemplating killing themselves. Like, why bother situation? You know, they gotta find water, otherwise they're gonna dehydrate to death situation. You know, there's real stakes, real quick, and the show makes that clear. And with every like hint or an answer to get home, that you get those upbeat feelings coming across the screen. Much, you know, it makes sense. If you don't have that instant stakes, I think that's what lost the show's interest with me even picking it up. Because as soon as you said, "Oh no, it's pretty lighthearted to start," I was like, that's not what I really wanted going into something like this. Because in even Galaxy 3-9, you know, every place he goes to, there's a moral story that he has to that Tetsuo has to learn and overcome, right? There's a whole purpose to it all. Maybe that's why Astra Lost in Space didn't. I think that's what it was missing. That's coming from someone that didn't watch it. I'm just coming off your words about the show.
Yeah, I mean, like, the thing at the end of the day is that this show has seemingly, at least based on what is here, it has a very young audience in mind. I say very young, but like, sure. It is a shonen demographic show, right? So young teenagers, teenage boys. So in that regard, I understand why they opted to like not go too heavy and instead kind of keep, because, you know, when it comes to entertaining young teenage boys, a lot of the time going heavy isn't what people want. Whoa,
I mean, come on, we need to get we need to get the Gundam and Ideon in the world back here. You're not seeing 7-year-olds get their heads chopped off. I don't know what's not entertaining. Am I right, boys?
No.
Yeah. No, but it's, again, like, it's definitely, I do think it's a show worth checking out, just to, like I said, if you want that short, like, space travel, if you don't feel like sitting down 113 episodes to watch Galaxy Express 3-9, which, by the way, you should do, that show's good.
Available on Crunchyroll, I believe.
Yep.
Yeah.
Then, yeah, there's definitely, I've kind of done it. It's a show that I would say is worth a go. It's not a bad show. It's just, I feel like for where I am, I feel like there are some very obvious things it could have done better to be more enjoyable, but instead it opts to kind of play it very safe and be like, yeah, you know, this is the situation. This is what we have to do. Everybody, after, you know, crying a little bit and being a little bit, my life's over, and then be like, get yourself together. We're all highly intelligent people with high qualifications in space travel and engineering, and yeah, so we can get out of this situation. So that's essentially where it goes. Like, they're not your average random kids. It's not like, oh, we didn't know anything, but we just happened to survive. No, technically more than fit to be able to survive this situation. It just seems very hopeless at first, and then they realize that there's a way, there's a seam. Let's go there.
So, before Hickey talks about his last show, from what I'm seeing here, Dumbbell is the highest rated show of summer.
Of course it is. Dude, it awakens fetishes. But it's extremely good as well, and it makes you want to be better. So, like, it's good. It's just way too good. And it's well animated. The music's really, really good. And, you know, there's nothing to not like in Dumbbell, unfortunately, I guess.
Is that really how far anime has fallen in 2019?
Fallen? Are you kidding me? This
fallen?
I think Dumbbell is one of the best shows to come out in a long time, actually.
Oh my god.
JD, they even reference your favorite 80s shows. God, and you dare say that that it is showing that anime has fallen? Who do you think you are?
Hickey.
And you didn't say that to Arifureta. And I feel attacked.
God. JD, you're part of the problem.
Holy shit. That was unnecessary, JD. And we made a lot of Nazi jokes in this podcast, and that one...
Totalitarianism?
I don't appreciate this double team maneuver going on with me right now.
No, don't say that. Don't say that ever again.
Hickey, your last show. Do it. Come on.
Alright, my last show. I'll try to be quick, and I think it will be, because I think I'm the only one who watched it.
Yes, you are.
Yeah. This show, I decided to talk about it because after one recording session, I was talking to Tori, I don't think it was the last one, but he mentioned this show, and there was a lot of hype apparently at the beginning of the season, and the talks about this show died. And when I was thinking about it, it was like, yeah, because the show is good, but I don't have a reason to talk about it. I don't have a reason to talk about it. I don't have a reason to mention it. I don't have a reason to remember it. And I don't have a reason to recommend it. But the show is still good. And that is Granbelm. A show done by Studio Nexus.
Oh, it is Belm. Okay.
And I'll try to give my own synopsis. I'll read the beginning, which is of the synopsis in my anime list, because it's a good introduction to the world. But after that, I'll just do my little synopsis. Long ago, magic was abundant and enriched the lives of the people until its usage in war. To end the chaos, 7 of the most powerful mages gave up their lives in order to seal our magic. Now, almost 1,000 years later, their magic seal Magia Conatus hosts Granbelm, a monthly series of battles meant to determine who among its participants is worthy of the title of Princeps, the one true mage. Then we start following a girl called Mangetsu, which seems to be a normal girl. And what it's not explained here is those Granbelm contests, they are fought by the descendants of those 7 mages. But Mangetsu is not one. At first, she doesn't seem like a mage. She's not a mage. She cannot use magic. She's just a normal girl. Until in a full moon, she's sucked into the Granbelm. And you know, she becomes allied to a girl called Shingetsu, which main goal is to extinguish all magic. She wants to win Granbelm and become the princess so she can destroy all magic, even though it costs her own life. And her reason is she's too powerful. And every time, because she's too powerful, her life was ruined. So she wants to end all magic. Every single contestant has their own reason to wanting to become the princess. And then we have a bunch of battles. People went in thinking this would be like Madoka, I think. It is not. Definitely not. There's a lot of off-putting things about the battles, especially because they are fought in mechas. That look like Gundam build chibi mechas. But the show is actually very, very good. By the end of it, when I was thinking about it, it was extremely good. The problem of this show is, from episode 1 to 10, it is okay. It is the most okayest show I ever laid my eyes upon. It is extremely okay. When I say that, I mean it is quite shallow. You have the characters, they show why they want to become princeps. Some of them have interesting reasons too, others are just fucking around. There's one girl who really hates Shingitsu because she thinks she destroyed her family. Her name is Fugo Ana. You know, it's interesting, but they do a bunch of one deal things. They show a power and only show once in the whole show. Just like Mangetsu, there's one time Mangetsu kind of loses her temper and goes half berserk with black magic. They only show that once and never talked about it again. But when it comes to episode 10 to 13, it is exceedingly good. It goes to some, like I told Tori, a wholesome Evangelion kind of thing. It was very, very interesting. The problem is, a lot of people got deceived on the expectations you have in this show. I believe the expectations for the show should be closer to Yuki Yuna is a hero than something like Madoka or Idol Girl, Magical Girl Raising Project. But yeah, I think it's about it. I don't know, even, right, I gave it an 8, let's start with that, but it has a 6.98 on my anime list. Possibly because of the off-putting elements to it. But the story, it is actually very good. The problem is, most of it is okay at best. But being okay at best lays the foundation to the last 4 episodes, which are really, really good. I thought about this show. What they could improve, what I would improve. And the most part of it, I was like, well, it feels very shallow. And I thought, well, maybe with more time, but even with more time, I don't think nothing would change. And then I came to realize this one would be an awesome movie, like a just 2-hour movie. It would be good enough to straight up a lot of problems he had, especially about a lot of space they had to fill with content and they didn't have. One, because the story honestly didn't have the content to be filled with, and because they didn't need to fill it with anything. But I honestly recommend the show. I think it was really good. I think it is one of the gems of the season that got just stuck under a bunch of trash and then people getting the wrong expectation and making the conversation about it dying. Although the little mecha fights are weird, it is worth watching for the sheer entertainment it can provide you by the end. So yeah, I'll probably never talk about the show again because again, there's nothing to talk about it. There's no reason to talk about it. There's no reason to recommend it because I can think of better shows to recommend. And that there's a lot of shows that come to mind when we think about it. And I was talking even to Tori that was like, this is a very interesting situation where there is a good show, but no one has a reason to talk about it. And I even suggested making a own podcast of those shows. Granbelm is one of them. I think it's definitely worth watching. Nothing that they made in episode 1 to 10 will make you go crazy or bash the show. It would be an okay-ish, very standard show, but it lays the really good foundation to the ending. And it's something sometimes we complain here, is that shows don't have enough good foundation to sustain themselves in the long run. This show has. The problem is it needed 10 episodes to do that. So yeah, I gave it an 8. I think it's definitely something you want to watch, but you probably won't see anyone talking about it. So I just decided to give this little review on it.
Fair enough. I'm glad you did it, Hickey.
Yeah, I'm never going to watch that show.
Nah.
Yeah, I mean, it's there's better things. Yuki Yuna is a hero, like I said, is a good example of it. You can talking like something about this show. You need to be very specific for me to recommend this show, even though it's a good show. And even if you're extremely specific, I would even say something about you, like Yukina is a hero, or even some Gundam. So yeah, still a very good show. I think it's honestly worth watching it, just because to see how to make a good foundation for a story to sustain a very, very, very good ending, a very satisfactory ending as well. So yeah, give it a try. Don't believe it what other people on the internet are talking about it. It's definitely worth it. I think 6.898, although it's a 7, which for my animalist standards is a good score. I think it's a little low for it. I'll give it a 7.5, 7.6. Yeah.
All right, so those were the summer reviews of 2019. If there's any shows that we missed, sorry, just didn't make the short list of what we wanted to review this season. So,
What's the summer season? Nobody cares.
Yeah, well.
Yeah, there's no.
Hopefully fall's better.
There wasn't much stuff.
So all right, let's play this drop and finally get on to the retro show we're reviewing today.
Now, it's time we start dealing with the business at hand.
Yes, time to start dealing with the business at hand. We are talking about a volleyball anime, not Haikyuu, you suckers. This is pre-Haikyuu.
By a lot.
By a couple years.
By a lot. By almost 60 years, yes.
Yeah. It is called Attack Number 1. I believe, Tori, when you were first doing your original quest, you wanted to see the show, but you couldn't find enough translations out there at the time?
I wanted to, well, it wasn't for my quest, but I wanted to watch this show. Former Joe, former host of the podcast, talked to me about it. He wanted to watch it, and I want to watch it too. But, you know, I was like, well, that's just too bad, because there's, at the time of talking, there was a single fan-translated episode, and the people who fan-translated had given it up. They didn't care to continue after one episode. So I was like, well, that's just too bad. And he's like, well, if it ever becomes available, I wouldn't mind watching it. And that's what Joe said. And because he always gets it, well, literally the day after saying that, episode 2 comes up. I see. And I'm like, wait, what? And then a week after that, episode 3. Week after that, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I'm like, what the fuck? Who started subbing this? Of all things? Who
And
the
suddenly,
hell?
104 episodes were translated.
Yeah? No, so I was just like, we gotta watch it, though. Like, I mean, it's like the shoujo sports anime of, like, the 60s, or the manga is one of the sports mangas of the 60s.
Yes.
Like, I mean, we gotta watch it.
So it made the shortlist. Is Attack Number 1. It's a volleyball anime released in December of 1969. Studio Tokyo Movie Shinsha, the Lupin the Third, Akira, and more studio. Very famous, yeah. TMS Entertainment. Episode director, there's 3 of them, but the one of note is Yoshio Takoichi. He's the Aim for the Ace, Ashita no Joe movie, Space Cobra. He's done a host of things. He's kind of the main guy. Show spans in total 104 episodes, based on the 12-volume manga that ran from 1968 to 1971. Summary from Anime Planet is, moving to a new school is never easy. And it's even worse when you're the most intelligent girl in school, and everyone around you seems incredibly boring. Ugh, been there. We've all been there. That is Kozue Ayuhara's attitude after arriving at Fujimi High. The only part of school that she finds remotely interesting is her favorite sport, volleyball. But unfortunately, even the Fujimi volleyball team is in shambles. They're horrible. One day, after insulting the team for always losing, as one does, Kozue is challenged to try out, and, well, try out, let's put that in air quotes, and prove just how good she is. Of course, as with everything in life, Kozue passes with flying colors, and in the process becomes the admired team captain. Having suddenly found a challenge worthy of her skills, can Kozue overcome the professional and personal obstacles involved with taking a losing team to international glory? So our goal was to watch a minimum of 13 episodes, as I found out that the arc ends at 14. But I didn't watch episode 14.
This guy.
Yeah, this guy right here. Yes, so this came out during a time period where women's volleyball in Japan was a big fucking deal. Like, internationally around the world, the Japanese volleyball team, specifically the women, were known for two things: training relentlessly and kicking the shit out of everybody else in the world.
And getting the shit kicked out of them by their coach.
Well, they were the training regiments lives in infamy to this day of what the 60s, 70s, and into the 80s of what volleyball meant in the country. So it only makes sense that a manga and anime that came out during this time period were incredibly popular, and incredibly popular with the female audience, hence the hardcore shoujo aspect of the show. Now, what did I expect going into this? I didn't expect much. I didn't know much about it. At the time, I didn't know much about the history of volleyball in Japan. It's a big deal, apparently. And low-key found out that this was the most hilarious show I've watched in a long time. It wasn't supposed to be a comedy, but that's how it came across to me. Did you guys feel the same?
I mean,
I don't think it was that funny, sorry, but I was laughing, but, you know, it was funny.
She pulled a knife on a volleyball.
She ganked the useless group and pulled steel. How is this not a 10 out of 10 with you, Hickey?
I guess because it's a hardcore shoujo with really not that much sense behind it. Yeah.
There's
it was
no
a weird
sense in
thing.
Shoujo is all about emotion, Hickey. You're just not in touch with your emotion. You're not in touch with your feminine side. God.
Amen, Tori. Amen.
Speaking of amen, actually, we'll get to that later.
Oh, wow. So Kozue, this is where the whole plot the summary didn't quite make clear. Is Kozue has this weird, like, lung injury, I guess?
Kinda, but not really, because she was fine.
Dude. Everyone bullies her. She's deemed a delinquent just because she wants to go dance in the woods.
That is so fucking funny. It's like, we're the bad girls. What do? Let's go dance. Like,
yeah.
What?
Dude,
I guess it's the 60s. I get it. But still.
I thought they were about to, I don't know, go pick up, because like they're called the delinquent groups, and although they don't agree, they are still kind of delinquent. And they're like, let's do some bad stuff. Like, are they going to smoke?
Like a smoke behind the school, they're gonna pick up some boys on the motorcycles.
This is the 60s. Smoking was okay back then.
As we learned with Bebop High School, You either smoke, go with bicycles, you beat up some random people, gank someone, but no, they decided to just dance go-go in the woods. I'm like, that is a violation of school rules?
Hey, man.
Yes, man. The
Hey,
president,
hey,
the student
Daddy-o.
council president came running. He was like, "No, I heard music. Who dare?"
The music of the devil. You are not concentrating on your studies.
Even though they're skipping school, but who cares about that?
Yeah. So like, and then like, then you have all the characters. They look like mob characters. Even the main girl. Everyone has a ooh face. But yeah, and it's like, I don't know. I was just, it's just weird. Then like
It's weird.
Kozue, she's not that much of a dick, but she's a dick as well.
Well, she
There's, like,
wants to stay out of it. She's
goes-
just bored in class. She falls asleep, able
Yeah,
to
I know,
answer
but,
a
like,
question
she goes,
while
for example,
unconscious.
ever since she transfer, she goes to the volleyball team kind of practice, and then the president goes, "Oh, you want to join the team?" Instead of her saying, "No, I have a lung injury and I cannot, participate, unfortunately." She goes, "No, I just don't want to partake in activities of losers." Dabs goes away. I'm like, why?
Oh,
I do
wish.
like the response of the
Like,
team.
I
They're
was
like,
like,
did
there
she
was-
just make fun of us?
Yep.
Yeah, it's like,
Yeah, she did.
and like that was the first time she ever spoke to the fucking volleyball team. I like that was extremely unnecessary, but okay, sure.
Oh,
And
man,
then she,
you gotta assert dominance right away.
but like
I'm
every
the
time
alpha here.
when she's starting to get something going, very shoujo like, someone comes in and kicks her, and then like she starts playing volleyball and everyone is happy, and then suddenly like she has a fucking lung injury. It's like, oh, of course. And I was saying like, oh, she's getting happy again. I cannot wait for someone to kick her down again. I'm like, never mind. Life kicked her down already. But apparently she miraculously recovered from the lung injury. I
yeah,
guess.
it was totally fine. She just goes to the doctor and they go, huh,
The
you're
doc-
cured.
I love how they literally, like, the episode ends with like, and now as the doctor's about to tell her new mysterious illness, how will she be able to continue to play volleyball with this illness? So first, next episode, guy comes out all serious, like, well, I've been looking at this, studying it real close, and honestly, there's nothing wrong here. It's like, what? Why are you making it sound like there's some big deal here? It's like, but there's nothing wrong with you.
Yeah,
You know what it, you know what it
Could there
reminded
be?
me? You know what it
goes-
reminded me of? It reminded me of like an old like Wild West, like whether it was cartoon or TV show, and it's like the stagecoach is approaching the Grand Canyon. How will they be able to stop in time? Will they be able to jump and make the gap? Tune in next week to find what happens. And imagine if that episode began and the horse just stops at the cliff and they go, "Whoa, that was close."
Yeah, I mean, I like the doctor because it's like,
They
well,
don't do that.
she had an injury, but I like the doctor going, well, I guess I was wrong. I thought that making playing volleyball would make the injury worse, but it was actually the cure. Who would have thought? I'm like, you are the doctor. You should know that.
Listen, man, it's the 60s. Doctors didn't know how to do their thing in the 60s.
And
obviously.
one thing I want to mention as well, everyone is sweating every time. Everyone, like every time someone is sweating their ass off. They didn't do anything. They just woke up. They are sweating. I can relate to that because I live in a fucking hell. But I thought it wouldn't. I didn't understand why everyone was so sweat all the time. I thought it was interesting, but yeah, it's like I thought it was funny, but not funny enough to. I don't know. It's not. How can I put it? It's not like that badminton anime.
Well, this made me realize
some seasons
this made me
ago.
realize something else. because this is the yes, it's older than it is older than Ashita no Joe.
Yes, I started in the Joe 70s.
Yeah. This made me realize that whether it's coaching problems or life risking injuries, the spirit of Japanese sports or sports in Japan in general, the whole mindset is, even if your life is on the line, this one game is always more important than your life.
Yeah.
Yes, JD.
And that
well,
hasn't
I mean,
changed
that's the only
since the 60s.
This is the logical step. They didn't have American ships to bomb anymore, so I guess you just go to sports and waste your life in it.
Because she's
Exactly.
saying, as she's being ripped by her arm from her parents to the doctor, no, I have to play this game. I know I have a life-threatening lung injury.
Yep.
Whether it was
Yeah,
punctured or
it's-
she's got fluid in the lungs or she's got
It's
pneumonia.
really-
We don't know. It's a lung injury. Fuck. My God. But this one game, because these girls on the volleyball team were mean to me, even though I deserved it, is more important.
Yeah, man. Like,
Yeah,
you got
also-
sometimes you just gotta do what you gotta do. It's like
everyone
can't-
everyone is so intense for a bunch of 13 years old.
yeah.
Like
And then-
even the
and then here's-
coach,
no.
when the coach appears, like, I'm gonna make this the best team of middle school Japan. I'm like, dude, they have 13 years old. Chill. It's
No.
I don't-
one.
no,
one, I don't
You're
think it will
missing
be
the setup
that
to
difficult.
this.
It's
The coach
it's
is like in his 20s. I'm assuming he's the new guy. While all the old stuffy men, right? They just go, this sports. They should
Sports
be
doesn't matter.
Sports doesn't matter. Their studies are what matter. I don't. And then the coach goes, "Well, I don't agree with this this train of thought." I'm like, "Great, okay, young guy coming in. He's got the cool hip new ideas to getting these radical kids to concentrate their stress on the sports ball. Awesome, right?" And then we got to cut to episode 5 now, because now he's in charge of the volleyball team, right? We're introduced. We have dissension in the volleyball groups because our new you got to have the rich stuffy girl that thinks her the best. That's Midori Hayakawa. She's
I love her. She thinks she's hot stuff. Loses to Kozue, gets slapped, and becomes a little bitch. I'm like, okay, cool.
How is this not
but
the
I mean,
funniest thing
even-
you've ever
even
seen,
then,
Hickey?
like, it's-
Come on.
I mean, the beginning is
have-
not. Most of the time, it's not that funny. It's random moments. They're just like someone is just talking. You know, it's not even talking shit. The person is just talking obvious stuff, and they're just having a conversation. Kozue just enters and slaps someone. It's like, why? Why would you do that?
That's one does. No, but
Well,
even
there was the
introduction
whole
of coach
setup.
as well. But like the introduction of coach as well, I love that because it's just like fucking. You have the coach, like when he his idea, like the way he pitches, like becoming volleyball coach as well, is just like he wants to improve the girls' studies through sports. It's the original goal, and he
that's
says
the original
the
goal.
best way to bring them together is to fucking is to like to have them like act as friends, like cultivate friendship through teamwork in sports,
And why does
cultivating
he
a nice environment.
Hold on. I'm stopping you right there. And why does he think in such a way? Well, when Midori joins the team, she vindictively sets herself up to become team captain because she should be the focal point of the team. Sets up Kozue by knifing like the net and the school equipment, and Kozue just happens to have, 13-year-old happens to have a pocket knife on hand. We find that out.
That's
a couple times.
that's whatever anybody does whenever they come and see a crime scene like this. They go sit there and be like, "Huh, obviously she was called up. Like, I'm gonna go here and I'm gonna inspect this, and there's a knife here. Let me pick it up and sit there with the knife in hand." Like, yeah, sure, just make yourself look.
I mean,
guilty,
I even like
guess.
all right, from the beginning. There's so many things they try to make their own tropes. Like for example, Kozue just wants to dance go in the woods. Again, that's her sole goal, and then she is this nice girl Honestly, she's a nice girl. And she just likes, since she can't play volleyball, she goes to the training and see the girls training. When the girls are like, hey, do you want to join us? She's like, no, because you guys are a bunch of losers. Dab, goodbye. And I'm like, dude, that wasn't called. And the volleyball team is like, that was rude. Fuck this girl. And they start being mean to the girl was mean originally. So what Kozue does, she snaps and goes to the delinquents or the useless group and say, me, and those bunch of delinquents will beat you guys in volleyball. And
I love how they call them the useless
the
team.
girls, the girls are like, no. She's like, come on, you guys don't want to be called useless for the rest of your lives. And they're like, you know what? True. So let's train volleyball. And then Kozue just appears with a bunch of balls and starts throwing at the delinquents so they can learn how to defend themselves.
Well, as we found out, that is the only way to train the volleyball.
True. Think of
But
it.
yeah, that was the whole first arc, was the useless team versus the volleyball team becoming a unit. Kozue becoming the team captain. Midori, rich girl, comes in. I do get a kick out of the part where she sets him up. She sets Kozue up to be framed for ruining the equipment, and then invites her and a couple of her friends that she made over to her house, in which the dad, with his piped out cigar or his tobacco pipe, he's like, yes, if you make my daughter the greatest, I will buy you things. And they're just like, this bitch. And then he's like, what? I can't buy them off? What is this? Really funny.
Yeah. I love that they just accept Midori as well, because
so
she's like, I gotta fix this situation, I gotta get them on my side. She's like, runs after him, like, apologizing, like, I'm sorry, I didn't mean it. I'll repent for my sins, I'll be good from now. And it's like, yeah, that's all we wanted to hear. Yeah. Everything's okay. Literally the next day, she's back to being a bitch. It's like, why do you even bother?
No, she's bitch to the others, but then for Kozue, she's like, please, master, tell me what to do. Yeah. That's a little bit later.
She's a bitch the whole time. They have a
that's a little bit later because you have the coach, and the coach goes, "You don't want to train? You don't want to be trained by me? Fine, win the next game, and I'll resign. But you won't, because you're a bunch of little bitches. Literally, because you're 13 years old, who cannot train and are not deserved to be the best team of Japan, although you're only 13 years old, and I might be asking too much for a bunch of kids. Yes, but you are still weak and pathetic."
The fucking guy who wanted to cultivate friendship in the fucking volleyball team. His only way of knowing how to train people is through literal fucking torture. Throwing balls at people, even when they're down, beating them, fucking having them run until they, like, up and down a goddamn mountain, till they fucking can't run anymore. Trip and fall, and just keep going. You're fucking, because of that, you're getting 5 extra laps.
Yeah, and then like
I was waiting for someone to fall down the shrine steps as they're running down. I was like, oh yeah, this is prime for like broken leg right here. And I'm waiting for the moment someone falls, and he just goes, "You fucking fell, worthless piece of shit. Get the hell up. That's 10 more laps." And sure as shit, he basically says that.
I like that. Midori and Kozue start fighting, and he goes, whoa, separate. You two are pathetic. Now everyone needs to run 5 more laps. I'm like, wow, really good way of resolving conflicts in your team.
Yeah,
for someone who wants to cultivate friendship. But yeah,
they go to the first... My favorite moment of the whole training session, Tori kind of glossed over it, is when he's chucking balls as hard as he can. This is episode 5. I was leading into it. He's chucking balls as hard as he can into the girls. And he wants them to set and volley the ball, but he keeps throwing them so fast and so hard that he's like bruising them, and he ends up knocking one girl down, and as she's getting up, her back is turned to him. The camera cuts to him, and it shows his eyes, and it focuses it on him like he sees this opportunity. He's like, this weak girl, this weak 13-year-old middle schooler. How dare she just succumb to my balls being pelted at her? Opportunity. He throws one at the back of her head.
Hold on. That was a really bad phrasing right there. there was some really bad phrasing.
I said it on purpose because that's exactly what happened. My balls opportunity. Get her at her head. Knocks her down. Basically knocks her unconscious. Kozue comes. We don't want to be coached. We don't agree with these methods. And he's like, He's like, you guys are just weak. And then it cuts to the principal and the staff going, Mr. Hondo, we've gotten calls from the PTA about your training methods. They don't seem to agree with it. Like, you don't say. Your children are coming home bruised and battered and concussed.
Listen, okay? I'm just picturing, because remember, like, this guy has no training, no qualification to be a trainer, right? However, one thing that they kind of touch on really fast, while they didn't specifically say what he is, I think I have something in mind. This man's only fucking athletic thing is that he was a part of the baseball team, and I have a feeling he was a pitcher.
Those fucking curveballs, you won't be able to hit these bitches.
I mean, it's extremely
I would say
funny.
take a base, but this is volleyball. Take some more.
I'm just picturing him playing baseball. He's just like fucking everybody complaining about it because he doesn't throw the ball into the mitt. He just keeps fucking throwing it at people's faces. Like, stop that! No, we must win.
Yeah.
Needless to say, episode 5 was the most comical episode I've watched in anime.
Yeah, and it comes. Attack number 1 also have the problem My Hero Academia has, where they don't train any technique. It's just...
You don't need technique, man.
Because, like, episode 6 is the climax between the conflict of Kozue Midori and then the coach. And it ends with the coach saying, alright, go to the match. I won't train you. I won't tell you any kind of new technique or strategy, but they always win without any strategy anyway, because he never says anything after.
That is the theme. Every game they go into, it's like, all right, what's our strategy, boys? And they go, none.
Zero.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Hey, man.
They go to the match.
That was very key to their last match, because their last opponent would study every team they would fight so that they knew exactly how to beat them. But you can't study someone who doesn't have a plan. Ha!
So bad. So yeah, oh my god. Yeah, they go to the match, and what happens is Midori is the only one attacking because she's a piece of shit and keeps stealing balls. What happens is you're gonna get marked. Of course, you're gonna get marked. They are 13 years old, but they play volleyball and they have competent coaches. So. She got marked, and then they went to Kozue, but Kozue also got marked. What happens is they get in sync. That becomes the beginning of Midori as Kozue's bitch, and they get this new technique of double feint attack. Basically, two attackers jump, one feint, the other one strikes, and the coach is like, oh, they developed a new technique just like it predicted it would happen. They're like, bullshit. That is bullshit.
Yeah,
that is bullshit because
you
said, that guy, you said they're gonna lose, and because of that you're gonna keep being the fucking coach. And he was wrong, and he's like, well, shit, I was wrong. They're gonna win this match. Well, I guess I'm gonna resign. Like, wait, that's it?
That's it.
Okay.
No,
cool.
that was not it.
No, of course not, because they have Stockholm Syndrome. And they're like, oh, we only won because the coach teached us. And I'm like, that is bullshit.
Like, he
didn't teach you shit, right? He just tortured you.
Yeah, but you get better through torture. Come on. You played sports before.
And, in the hentai community, you hear a lot about Attacker number 1 that, it actually helped you develop the lolicon kind of genre, and you can see that with the 13-year-olds with really long legs, bare legs and shit.
Yeah. It's true.
And I'm like, well, I guess it also influenced the mind break kind of aspect
Mind break
of hentai.
BDSM. All right. So they just fast forward to the whole arc 3, the last 6 episodes, I guess, or 7. And
Well,
they
the
go
merge
to the
schools,
they go to the
merge
regional
schools
tournaments.
first.
The what?
They merge schools first, no?
Well, yeah.
Yeah,
They do merge
they-
schools.
Then you have the
They merge
Fantastic
schools,
Four
and then they kind of... We
with
can just skip over that, though.
Kozue with the fucking knife.
Yeah,
Just
That's
like-
right. Yeah.
Yep. But I mean, like, the whole merging school thing isn't really that interesting. Like, it's essentially they merge school with another like really strong baseball team. They have like these fucking
Volleyball
like,
team.
The good, yeah. What the fuck did I say? Anyways, yeah.
That's because
volleyball
what's
team.
her face in the it's the vice president, the only guy in the show aside from the coach. It doesn't matter because they have the same face, but still.
Yeah, I was like, that's the same dude. Correct me if I'm wrong, but the main girl that's on, because they have their power foursome, right, with the school that merges, and the main girl is Izumi, right?
Yes, the one with the problem in the
Yeah.
hand.
So this is where it gets. So they merge. They have like a 4v4 battle, or their school versus theirs, and this is who's going to be the volleyball team. Doesn't really make sense. Why doesn't a fucking teacher or coach come in and go, dude, just play together? There's 9 people that needs to be on a court anyways.
All right.
Yeah, none of that. But hey, there wouldn't be any conflict, I suppose. Well, as it turns out, Izumi has a frickin', what did they call it? Arterial contusion, which is like a blood vessel injury in her wrist, so she can never play again. Which,
Yep.
I looked this up. There was no surgery or no solution. Like there is now, but back in the 60s, this was not a thing to be fixed. Like, you were fucked.
Mhm.
So
Yep.
I was like, okay, yeah, it's devastating.
That sucks so much. Holy shit!
Yeah, sucks for her. But
I mean,
her
at
idea,
least
instead
in-
of retiring or becoming a
that
manager,
comes up right off Top One Nerawe. It's this. Is it the same thing? It's something like that, right? The
What?
injury in Aim for the Ace.
Oh, yeah.
From the girl. It's something similar
no, she gets
to it.
she gets tennis elbow.
Yeah.
Yeah, she gets
Oh,
tennis.
but there's no treatment as well, and when
Well,
No,
tennis.
well-
you can come back from tennis elbow though. It's the thing. But like, I don't think she was. No,
she
was told
forced
that
too
she couldn't
much.
play.
She forced too
She
much.
played
and
the
then-
ring.
Because it's
But I mean, that's the
Japan,
same thing
and
here.
you have to make sure your injury is irreparable.
Yeah, because everyone's just like, my hand is fucked, but I'm gonna keep playing. And it's like,
Tie
well,
my hand to this racket.
you can never play again. Well, you know what? I'm gonna go and pick up track and field instead. It's okay. I didn't care about baseball, volleyball that much. Anyways, I'm too much into baseball. I want to see fucking coaches baseball anime now.
No sports anime is complete without an Oni coach.
True.
Yeah.
You need the Oni coach.
Yeah, so Izumi's whole arc, and this goes on for what, like 2 or 3 episodes, is
Yes, it's
she's
a
all
lot
pissed
of
off about her
confusion.
injury and not playing volleyball, is to give all of the teams not strategies, but the team's weaknesses to the other team that they're going to play in the regionals, so they can get to the country championship finals. So, bitch. And then it's all forgiven because, she can't play volleyball anymore, so that
No,
goes with
because she got slapped
In front of her stepmom.
in
had it
front of her family. Yes, but yeah, no, that arc was so dumb.
Yeah, that
Because
was definitely my least favorite part
If
of
she
the show.
stopped and said, "Look, I cannot play anymore because I have a condition," she doesn't do that. She just be a little bitch, and then whenever someone is being a little bitch, Kozue snaps. And when Kozue snaps, she either A, pulls off a fucking knife, B, slaps the person. And
you want to quit the team?
If she gets
Stab
the
this
knife,
volleyball. Show me your mental fortitude.
yeah. If she gets she draws the knife, you become her friend. If she slaps you, you become a little bitch. So the three girls she pulled a knife on. She literally ganked the girls and said, and the girls are like, yeah, we're not playing volleyball anymore. Fuck you. We're not playing your little games. And we are three here. If you try anything, we're gonna beat you up. And she pulls a fucking knife. I'm like, dude, what the fuck? And she's like, yeah, then stab this volleyball. I'm like, and gives them a fucking weapon. I was like, okay, fine. That's a shoujo, but that's okay. And they're like, oh no, we can't. Let's be comrades. All right, let's fix Izumi now. And then they discover Izumi has the fucking condition. Well, first that she's selling them. Then they try to.
She's a fucking spy.
Call
for
her
other
out.
teams.
Yeah, they try to call her out in front of the vice president, which is the only guy who's on her side.
Yeah, because he's the only one who knows that she's actually injured. Because forget about saying it to anybody else, but this guy, of course, I'm going to tell him.
Yeah, and then like he says, no, I'm not going to say anything, but he says anyway. And then Kozuo is like, oh no, we made a horrible mistake. And then she goes and slaps her, and then she becomes a little bitch. It's like, okay, we're friends now, and I love you guys. And Kozuo is like, yeah, we love you too. I'm like, no, Kozuo, you should punch this bitch unconscious and then go on top of her fucking head. But that's okay, because you slapped her, and I guess that's enough.
Yeah. Nah.
Slap her, now she shows up at matches cheering for them to win. That's right.
Totally makes sense. So, cut to meeting...
Don't you, hold on, about appearing in the thing, don't you love that they never showed their school going to the tournament? So they just spawn, then
Okay.
they just get teleported in the matches.
Yeah, man. That's how it is, that's how it gotta be.
Oh yeah, you're just walking down the street going home, and suddenly you just gets teleported to a city in a stadium just because your school is playing. Yeah, it happened to me a few times.
So cut to the final little piece here where they meet Yoshiko Kakanuchi. She's one of Japan's top 12, and her little shtick is she has like the rolling return. That can return any serve, and she beats beats you so bad that you
we forgot
break.
to say something about the Fantastic Four girls, which is the college when they go train with the college girls. I forgot that, because you have the falling leaf serving.
It's not important.
Oh, of course it is, because we have best girl, which is the the college woman. They goes, oh yeah, there's this serving technique which is way too advanced for middle schooler.
Yeah,
and we call the falling leaf, and they're like, oh yeah, so how do we counter that? And she's like,
no,
you retorted. The best defense is the offense. So you need to learn how to serve the same way and surprise your enemies that they don't think you can use the same techniques. And like, oh, so you're gonna teach us? No, you need to find out yourself. So I'm like, that was useless then. There's some useless information.
No, but it's so funny because
Kazue does learn how to be ambidextrous with her spikes.
I hate this part of sports anime though. Like the one like, so how do we defend? Defend? Disgusting. Get out! You're not allowed to train with us anymore. You don't defend. You attack better. It's like, of course you have to defend. What the fuck?
This is
if you
volleyball.
can't defend,
Any
you're gonna
Japanese sports.
Yeah, like this is volleyball. You need to defend. If you don't know how to receive, you're going to lose.
You're just gonna trade points over and over again, 1-1, 1-1.
Not trade. You're gonna get aced every single fucking time.
Yeah.
Every single
And
time
that's what
someone
happens.
serve, it's gonna be an ace.
That's what happened in a game too. They just got aced every time. So yeah, that does annoy me too in all sports anime, Tori. Defense? Oh, I'm a pitcher in baseball. Do I need to learn how to throw a changeup? No! Fastballs only!
Fastball. Well, he can hit your fastball. That's because my fastball isn't fast enough.
Exactly.
Faster!
Volleyball. Do I need to defend? No, you just need to serve. What's another sport? Basketball. Do I need know how to
everyone
defend?
throws fastball until the fucking truck hits them, and then they're dead. Sorry.
No, I just need to dunk harder. I just need to shoot from farther. I don't need to defend the guy.
Football. Do I need to know anything? No, just wait until the 92nd minute out of a 92-minute game and you'll score.
Yeah. Well, I mean, but football anime is a little bit funny because
It is.
the main guy is never on the defensive. The defense is like not the goalkeeper, the
How
back line.
fucking boring
And
would
whenever,
that be?
see, that's why no one likes defense in fucking this sport. So look at what you're saying.
But if it's a sport where you have to play defense, it's not like football where you have
I know, but like
striker and
I'm just saying,
guys.
yes, that was what I was about to say. Because Tori mentioned it, and like whenever the defense is used in football, the guys in defense is like, "What the fuck are you doing? Help us!"
Yeah, I don't know. I just the problem with football, I mean, just especially the goalkeepers there, because he is the best goalkeeper in the world. Conceded 7 goals in a single match. Like, wow, he's shit. That's terrible.
There's like one episode in Captain Tsubasa where the main character on the other team's the center back, and he's the one that leads the defense. And then it was broken 3-0. Great.
He's the one that leads the defense. He's also the one who leads the fucking attack.
Yeah, he's fucking Philip Lahm over here from Bayern Munich.
Anyways, this is about football anime.
Anyways,
Okay.
this is about volleyball.
We need to make a Captain Tsubasa.
The final tournament. What about the final tournament, JD?
Yeah, the final
So,
tournament.
Yoshiko Kakinuchi, she has the rolling return serve, and of course she's top 12 in the world because she knows how to actually defend.
All right.
And because nobody can score on her, everyone mentally breaks down. So Kazue and company make friends with another team that's going to play them. And
It's the former, it's Kozue former school team.
Yeah.
They don't even just mentally break down; they get physically hurt.
Wow.
I still don't understand this. How the fuck?
I don't know how they got physically hurt, but it cuts to this chick in the medical room. She's like gurneyed out. She literally no. I'm sorry. As the teams announced as Yoshiko's teams announced as the winners, and she has a smirk on her face. It's announced over the intercom that the captain of the other team has lost consciousness on the court and has to be taken to the medical room in the back. Cut to him in the back, and she's like half unconscious. She's sweating profusely. Like multiple doctors are, quick, get her to the hospital. And there's her just murmuring, I gotta quit volleyball. I have to quit. I'll never play again. Oh, God. And then meanwhile, Coach Hondo over here is like, we can't scout the other team. We can't know their strategy. Let's go into a room and listen to classical music. And nothing. It's a strategy that makes sense, actually.
It makes sense, but like, it makes sense the way it was explained in the anime, but it doesn't make sense at all because his explanation is they're way too powerful, way too stronger, which means it doesn't matter if you scout them because you guys are also strong. When you face them, they will go full on, the full potential. So the idea you have in your head of their strength will be wrong, and you might lose mentally to them. And we're like, yeah, but that's why you're here, coach. You are the guy who should scout and sees, they are not playing the full potential. So let me make a few calculations here. And look, they are a little bit better than you guys. So let's make a technique or, train a little bit harder. Or, use that thing called strategy. But no.
Don't be ridiculous. Coaches don't do strategy.
Yeah, they specifically
Coaches
say that line.
Don't do strategy.
There's the two commentators in the booth that are bringing him in, and they go, "So where is Fujimi High?" And go, "Well, they're in a back room listening to music. They don't say that, but and they go, well, what's their strategy? I've been informed they don't have any. What?
Why would they even give up a strategy to begin? Fucking. That is such a dumb line to come out with anyway. It's like,
well, so
they
that's
have informed
actually
us that they have no strategy.
That's actually a wrestling thing. That's a big problem in a lot of like modern day wrestling is when a guy's cut a promo and the stupid interviewer goes, so what's your strategy going into this next match? And the guy proceeds to say all their strategy. Go,
listen, they need to take they need to take the football approach. Take the Jurgen Klopp approach. What's your strategy? Win. Hopefully by scoring a lot of goals.
Win.
Yeah, no shit, right?
Yeah.
Maybe God will illuminate me and I'll make a bunch of goals. Thank you. So
maybe the other team will have punctured lungs out of nowhere or have wrist contusions that are unreparable.
You know.
But yeah, unfortunately JD didn't finish.
Please don't.
You know,
it's even better. The ending is even better, JD. You need to go and watch episode 14.
No, tell me, come on.
No, I mean, honestly, even if we talk, you need to go. I think I'll keep watching it just because of the preview of episode 15. It's so retarded. But yeah, basically they lose
Are we going to come back and have a part 2 of Attack Number 1?
Probably.
I guess so.
Because they lose the first. They lose the first set. They can't go over the rolling attack. What is the so like? Let's just make a mental exercise. You're playing volleyball, right? We're playing volleyball. We are a team, us 3. There's someone in the other team that can receive all the balls we throw. What do we do? No one?
Go on.
No one wants to answer?
No.
No? Alright. You don't throw the ball at her. You throw at someone who can't receive.
But Hickey, that's the problem. She can do anything. She is everywhere.
She's everywhere.
Yeah,
she's a one-man team.
No, because when they win the other sets, they're not focusing on her. Sometimes the ball goes to her, and then she receives, but there's another girl being bullied that she can receive any ball.
The way they return, the way they fucking win the second set is kind of weird, because like for a lot of it, you were expecting a fucking like tight fight here, but for a lot of it, it's kind of just like, we scored. They scored, we scored, we scored, we scored, we scored, they scored, we scored, they scored, we scored, they scored, they scored. It's like, okay. So now all of a sudden you can fight. Why? Well, we need to calm down. Remember the music. Fucking remembering listening to the music and be like, yeah, remember all the training you did. Yeah, well, we'll win.
All that strategy they're using.
And
how is the eventual winning point scored? Well, as Kosua learned in the game, when she was on the receiving end of a beatdown, she was blinded by light from the sky, from the skylight, because the sun is standing on it, and because the ball was
blocking it, window,
and because the ball was blocking it, and then dropped down. She all of a sudden got blinded by light. So for her winning point, she wanted a perfect toss to her. She got the perfect toss. She hits the ball. The ball goes towards super receiver over here. And the ball is coming. She is in full control. She is going to get it. Then the ball drops. Then the ball drops. And the light from the skylight comes through and hits her in the face. She is blinded. She cannot see the ball. She misses the receive. They win.
I like that after they win one set and it's like 101. No, Jay, this is the best part of that episode. It's like it's tied. Like 1-0, like 1-1.
Yeah.
And the coach is like, you guys are doing well. The no strategy is working. You guys know what to do. Seriously, you guys know what to do. And look, I have a special news to you. The best 13-year-old middle school team in the world is come to watch you guys. It's the team from the Soviet Union. They are sitting in the bench.
I read about this like Russian character that comes eventually, and I'm like, how does this happen?
Like there's a bunch of Russian people in the crowd, and like there's the Russian team in the crowd, and they just look at Kozue and do a thumbs up, and Kozue's like, oh, I'm pumped now. Those
Thumbs
little
up,
bitches
they do
walk.
they do the peace sign. I wish you would have done a double peace. Just to fucking keep going on the fucking
peace
hentai.
sign, and Kozu's like, oh shit, the Soviet Union is here to watch. I'm like, oh no.
And then because it's a shoujo, it's just like, wow, they have really pretty uniforms. Yeah, I'm sure. I mean, that's what you're focusing on. The best team in the world is there to watch you play, and the only thing you care about is that they have a nice looking uniform.
Yeah, and then like episode 14 finishes
jumpsuits.
with them winning, becoming the best team of Japan. Coach being the coach and saying yes. Because of me, we won.
He takes all the credit.
I did it. I said you weren't gonna come. up with
Congratulations,
any strategy.
Kozue, and we won because of my no strategy. And then the preview for episode 15 starts, and preview of episode 15 makes Kozue seems like a bitch because they won, and now it's the best team of Japan. And now there's a bunch of freshmen going because 14 episodes took a year to roll by. The volleyball team is the biggest sports club in the school, and because of that, they need a gymnasium for themselves. So they kick out the gymnastic team. So the gymnastic team needs to train outside of the gymnasium. And it's like
Nothing like a balancing beam
every
act
single
with
shot,
suffering
like
from
in the
concrete
preview.
below you.
Yeah, in the preview, every single shot of Kozue, she's pissed. I'm like, oh, someone is gonna get slapped in episode 15. I'm certain of how
right.
pissed Kozue is. So yeah, and then oh my god,
All right.
I cannot wait for episode 15.
Let's wrap this up. I have attack number 1, 15 through 30, marked down. Future on the schedule. It's gonna be a while away, but that's fine.
We're gonna
We're
gonna watch
continuing
all the
the show.
104 episodes of the show.
We're on our way. It's happening. So I rather liked the art. I thought the animation's 1968, 1969. Fine, whatever. It was better than Speed Racer. I will say that much.
Yeah. No, I mean, I did notice that, like, obviously this has had the digital remastering, and
You're right. Yeah,
absolutely,
I probably
that
watched
is,
that enhanced version.
Yeah. I mean, the animation hasn't been touched up that much, but it's like you notice it when you look at like the colors and like everything. That's like it's quite clear that this has been touched up. It's not like I'm not trying to say like all that necessarily would always have like washed out colors, but they wouldn't be like they seem too artificial to be like
60 quality.
like, 60s. Yeah. Like it feels like
usually
rather than repainting it,
vibrant.
somebody's
Yes,
gone in
yes. They
digitally
are
and like
very-
up the contrast on it, like up the
they're very
like,
they're
done
very
some,
vibrant.
color corrector.
If you look at Speed Racer, it's way more pale.
Yeah, it's a lot more grainy
except
and
more
everything.
brownish
even if
colors.
you compare it to Aim for the Ace, the other shoujo AF sports anime that we've reviewed, this does look better than that on a lot of ways. Music, whatever. It's 60s, like nothing.
The opening
JD, you
is
just
nice,
reminded
right?
me.
The opening's
JD,
fine.
JD, you just reminded me.
What's up?
I completely forgot. At the end of episode 14, when they win, they play a
Oh,
fucking
yeah.
Christian hymn at the end. I'm like, wait, what? They literally played "Thine Be the Glory," and I'm just like, I'm listening to the music. I'm like, I know this. Why do I know this? How do I? And then I just start thinking. I'm like, I just start thinking, singing lyrics to myself, and because I'm from Norway, I can remember like Norwegian lyrics, and I'm just like, wait, what's that song? And then I look it up, and it's just like, this is a Christian hymn. Why are they playing a Christian hymn at the end of the? Is there something I'm missing here? Like I don't. Okay, I guess they're Christian.
Yeah. I thought it was like, well, maybe. I mentioned it to you. I was like, well, maybe it was like the Battle Hymn of the Republic, which is a American battle song, but because of the lyrics, it's also used as a Christian anthem.
Yeah, I have no
But
idea.
it's
I just
not.
noticed that.
It's
That's
not.
weird.
It's just there. I guess someone thought the melody was fine, and made it the fucking school anthem, or the baseball association, I guess. Here we go, baseball again. Volleyball association anthem.
Everyone wants that coach baseball anime.
Everyone, we just needed.
Well, we need a slam dunk and a baseball anime to review for this cast.
Baseball anime, aim for it. No, sorry, Star the Giants, isn't that what it's called?
Ooh.
The 60s baseball anime?
Ooh.
Mm-hmm. Something to consider for the future.
Something to consider. There better be. If there's no Oni coach, I want no part of it.
Star the Giants was the first sports anime ever made. So
there better be an Oni coach.
There's probably
will be an Oni coach. It's a fucking 60s sports anime.
Take my balls. All right. I really enjoyed Attack Number 1 probably a lot more than I thought I was going to.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, very shoujo. It doesn't make sense in a lot of ways. So, even though I'm giving it a 7 out of 10, it's worth watching.
Yeah, definitely. I wouldn't say it's worth watching because we only watched 14 episodes out of 100.
Hey, these first 14 episodes are very much
worth
watching.
The first 14 episodes, it's definitely worth checking out. I'll agree with JD. I'll give it a 7 out of 10.
Okay. I mean, like I said, it's very much shoujo, 60 shoujo. The like everything you see from everything through the opening, where it's just like it has this weird like cut-off moment from the music, where it's just the main character going like, and sometimes I cry because I'm a girl, and girls sometimes cry. It's just, that was, that is your first experience, your first introduction to the show. Might be a little bit cringy, to say the least. I know it was for me.
I mean,
I was not ready for that, but I mean, I got through it, and what comes after is just, honestly, it's a lot of fun. I think there's a lot of things that it's not good, but it's fun. So I ended up giving it a 6. Like it's.
Yeah,
I wasn't planning on continuing it, but if we're doing another podcast on it, then hell yeah, I'm fucking gonna continue watching.
All right, 2 7s and a 6 for Attack Number 1. Very unexpected.
The best shoujo anime we've ever reviewed on this podcast.
No. Aim for the Ace is the.
Isn't Akage no En considered shoujo?
No, shoujo sports anime.
Shoujo sports. Aim for the Ace.
I still think from the sole perspective of the mental breakdown of the main character of Aim for the Ace, that she just gives up on her life, and she's like, look.
We all gave Aim for the Ace a 7, didn't we?
She even has a fucking boyfriend. She says, we are not going to go out until I win the Olympics, so fuck you. We need to do the second season of that as well.
Yeah.
Oof.
All right, well, this was fun. This was episode 60, the Red Leaf Retrocast Anime Edition. We'll see you next time.
Peace.
See ya.
空にバンボンボボン弾むボールが夢を描く明日の太陽バンボンボボンサーブレシーブトスジャンプスパイクアタック6つのハートが一つに燃え